numerals at the 12, 3, 6, and 9, and then you have stick markers for the hour indices, and you have a continuously operating sweep hand. Now, I love the fact that the piston-style pushers really do mimic a piston. They look like a piston you'd find in an automobile, just like you saw in our commercial there. And by the way, congratulations to our team for putting that commercial together.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Folks, you're going to see more and more production from us behind the scenes. And whether it is, off in Switzerland and taking a look at the factories where maybe some of the watches are made, or right here in our palatial studios and what goes on behind closed doors, because, literally the shipping department is here, the vault is here. We have to take them into the vault. But just simply hitting that pusher is going to start our chronograph. You'll see that our sweep hand there at the 6 o'clock sub-dial has started. There's our start, our stop, and there is our reset right there. I love the fact that there is knurling around the crown, which makes it very, very easy to operate. It's black, it is monochromatic, except for that one splash of color of red, which of course lets you know it's red line. You're going to see just a touch of it there on the crown, and of course around that chapter ring. Just like with the Nixon watch, which was a bit more expensive than the red line, you have that soft touch all the way around. Now, of course, right here on the bezel, you're going to see the black IP plating of the stainless steel. But notice how the bracelet, the strap on this watch, seamlessly meets and wraps around the case. Notice it takes the natural shape of the wrist. And this is gorgeous. I mean, look at that. If I let go of this, it doesn't want to lay flat. It just automatically starts to go back into the shape of a wrist, and that's going to fit so very well. This is one of those watches that the moment you put it on, you go, okay, that's comfortable. In fact, I'm going to slip this on my wrist right now, and you can tell me what you think. Because I would have told you that a 48 millimeter is too large. You know that I like watches in that sweet spot of 40, 42. That's great for my wrist, maybe because I just come from an era when watches were that size. Now, here in the 21st century, you're going to see a 48 millimeter is a modern size and is very contemporary. Yet that's not too large. And I actually have some of my older watches that are in the 38 millimeter. They almost feel dainty.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, in fact, there is a Longines that we did a commercial for today. It's in a men's style, and it's 36.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
I would wear that.
Oh, it's a beautiful, you would wear it. It's beautiful. But here is, maybe you're thinking of getting a larger watch. You want to update the wardrobe. You want to look a little bit more contemporary, but you don't want to go over the top. Here is a great way to put a modern style, a modern size watch, and one that's, it's got a warranty to it. This is not just a cheap disposable watch. In fact, it's, it's a $120 watch, which is the wow price, and you're getting it for $49. Folks, do not hesitate. 280314 will get you the red line. Apex 12. This is the ultimate stocking stuffer because, instead of just sticking candy in there and a few scratch-off tickets, go ahead and put this watch in there.
Have you been talking to my mom again?
We're seeing each other. And
Dad!
That's friends. And we talk watches. And you. 280314 gets you the red line Apex. And you were right. That is one to add on to your order. Or if you can't find anything today, go ahead and get this home and take a look at it. We're going to pay for shipping.
Alrighty. From a super sporty style, we're going to get ready to go to some classic. Now, this is just the same collection that we aired a few moments ago of Wiley's top pick, but we wanted to show you some other color variations because your top pick was the all blacked out, right? It was silver tone with the black dial. Now we're doing silver tone with the white dial. And honestly, I like the black dial variation. But
I may like this one more.
I knew you were going to say that because I know you're always partial to those lighter silver dials. And this one allows you almost to see more into sort of that. I like that it's a crescent moon cutaway.
That's exactly right, because anything that pays homage to the sun or the moon, which have been timekeepers for a very long time, it's just really, really nice. Now, I like skeletonized movements, but they're often hard to tell the time. Notice with this partial cutaway skeletonized dial, it allows you to see the beating heart of the watch. You have that beautiful filigree pearlage bridge that's on there, but you also have some other cutaways that allow you to see a bit more of the intricate workings of the watch without it just being over the top and so superfluous that you just go, okay, I can't even tell the time. And when I turn this around, you're going to see that just rotating this is also going to allow you to wind the watch, but because it's an automatic, the rotor's going to do the work for you.
Look at how beautiful that is.
Isn't that gorgeous? You would expect when you see a watch like there, that's perfect. When you see that, almost like diamonds in there.
It's all done by hand.
And How do you describe the decoration when you see a bezel that has the look of diamonds in it, and it does have actually set diamonds, but it also has the decoration?
Oh, I call that an illusion setting.
An illusion setting. This really has the illusion of almost stones set in there.
Mm-hmm.
And as I hold that, would you be so kind as to wind it so they can see? Can you see that moving?
Keep an eye up right there.
There you go.
Those little gears turning.
It's amazing. This is not something where robots put this together.
No, no. In fact, we got to see a video that they're actually working on showing. There's going to be a commercial that'll be coming up hopefully in the next few weeks on our program. Did you get to see that where they were showing the men and women that sit on the stools on their little desks and they're actually using tools to carve all of that into it?
I have seen variations.
Fantastic.
It's funny, but the last video I saw was for all a handmade watch with the world's most complications, and the watch was $2 million. Do you ever get people that ask you the question when we have a watch on the show that maybe is $5,000 or $10,000? Because we have timepieces that no other show could put on the air but us. Just a little throwdown, throwing some shade. But have you ever had say, do people really pay that for watches?
Of course.
And they don't realize there are watches that are millions of dollars. And we are delighted to bring you some of the best brands, including our own. And here is a value that you're just not going to find anywhere else. A watch that is normally, $500, $600, down to $175, down to $144. And they say that all that glitters isn't gold. Well, we have an awful lot of value here and a lot of bling and glitter. In fact, if you don't like what you're seeing right now in the silver tone, can we tempt you a bit more with a bit?
I like this one. This is I know a bit more conservative. It's definitely dressier.
Yes, it is.
But I just really love the warmth of rose tone.
Now, I have to say that I am falling in love more and more with rose tone. Now, we discussed this yesterday. Gold comes in a variety of colors. Google it if you haven't done it. Gold comes...
You're saying green gold?
Oh, just go ahead and take a peek. Gold comes in red and green. It comes in other shades depending on other metals that are added to it.
Oh, wow.
Ah, she's using the Uniblab computer here, which is the high-power Swiss watch computer. Just crank it one more time. It'll take it onto the internet.
Coming out of it.
But rose gold, that's the whole point. Rose gold is one of the most popular colors right now in gold. And here they've used rose gold over stainless steel, and I have to say it looks incredible. And you're right, Megan, this does dress it up a bit, but it really gives you a sense of luxury to the watch, where the black is very sophisticated, the white is elegant. There's just something about this that just pulls your eye in. And look, even from a distance, you can see the beating heart of the watch. It's a conversation piece. One of the other Lucien Piccards that I purchased was the Matador, which has a dual beating heart, one on the left, one on the right. And every time I wear that watch, because you can see the balance wheel moving, people ask about it. Now, I have a friend, the doctor I've told you about, that's bought a few things from us. His watches are $40,000, $60,000.
Wow.
I wore one of the Lucien Piccards in, and he knows the name from old school.
Of course.
And the first question was, oh my goodness, how much was that watch? Because he assumed that because of all the craftsmanship, the skeletonization of the watch, the way that the movement is presented, the craftsmanship, he assumed the watch was multiple thousands of dollars. And I told him it was, and I sold it to him for that. And then I bought another one for $149. And you should do the same. But if you have much better scruples than that, then go ahead and get one for yourself or give one as a gift. Leave the retail price on there, and people are going to think you spent $700 because it really does have the look and feel of that. Now, which of the three do you like better? Black dial, silver dial, or rose gold? For your man.
I would go with this rose one as my first choice, and then your hot pick as my second choice.
You're a wise woman.
Now let's move from some of our own brands to some brands that you know and love.
Oh.
226301, Accutron by Bulova, a Swiss-made watch.
Unbelievable that they have this watch on the show. Because from the moment you pick it up, I realize Bulova and Accutron are more than can hold their own. But I said this yesterday when I picked one of these up, I thought it was a Maurice Lacroix. Because it has the weight, the feel, the style. When you look at Jean Richard, when you look at Frederic Constant. There is just something about those watches that have a look and a feel, a weight, a gravitas to it that really looks great. So, I don't want you for a second to think that, you are getting just a secondary watch. This is an all Swiss-made watch. Accutron by Bulova. Accutron happens to be the luxury division of Bulova. And just as Caravel is the fashion side of Bulova, Accutron is the luxury side. It's the pinnacle piece. Now, as you look into that dial, as we come in even closer, I want you to see that beautiful design that is within the dial itself. There is some hand-done work to that dial that just gives visual presence to it. It almost looks three-dimensional. But then you have a three-hand configuration of the hour, the minute, and a continuously operating sweep hand there at the 9 o'clock position. Two additional sub-dials and a locked-into-place sweep hand are going to be for our chronograph. And simply hitting that pusher is going to start it, stop it, and then here at the 4 o'clock, our reset. You notice how it snaps back. You even have a day and date complication. Now, as I flip that over, I want you to look into the back of the watch, and you can, of course, see that as a sapphire crystal, both front and back. The watch is all Swiss-made. It's a custom rotor with the Accutron logo on there. But there, you can see the beating heart of the watch. You're looking at the balance wheel. You're looking at the life of the watch. Of course, you've got 316L stainless steel. The watch has such a weight to it, you know that you've got quality the moment you pick it up. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is a modified Valjoux 7750, and this is what it looks like if you have glaucoma. And there we are, we're coming back right there.
If you're treating it medicinally.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. This is modified because you've got the day and date complication. Remember, we aired this yesterday with that black dial, and I was saying that almost perlage decoration, which honestly is really more of a series of concentric circles over and over, it almost has that snake print to it.
It really is unusual in how they have done that. Now, it's a dual push button, a dual scissor deployant. And once you feed the strap through here, all you have to do is snap it in place. And what does this do, other than look really cool, is it's going to take the stress off of the strap, and it's going to allow this leather to last a lot longer. Maybe you have a leather belt that you have to constantly run through a loop, and when you do, you'll notice it starts to crack, or it may take off some of the finish. This is designed so that there is no wear and tear on the leather. Now, simply hitting the pusher is going to allow that to open, and it's going to be easy to put off and on. Now, you were telling me that you have a friend that they have a watch that has a deployant clasp. Because they have a large hand, if it's a single scissor, it may only open part of the way. Notice that this is a dual scissor, and it allows for a much larger opening. So if you have a large hand, don't worry, you're still going to be able to put the watch on. Some watches have only a single scissor deployant, and that's fine. It may take a little bit of work to get the watch on, but with a dual scissor, it's a much larger opening because small wrist, large hand, but look how easily that slips on. In fact, let me slip this on my wrist right now, and you can take a peek at this beautiful 42mm watch, and you can see that looks great. Now, I think that's just the right size for me. I happen to like 42mm. That's just as really good. Go ahead and give us a little bit more focus on that so they can see that. There you go.
This is gorgeous. And with a Valjoux 7750 automatic chronograph, you have one of the most venerable movements in the watch world. They don't even make, you know, Etta Valjoux does not even make movements anymore to sell for any of their brands outside of the Swatch Group.
And I'm a little amazed because what have I told you, Megan?
You don't usually find 7750s for under $1,000.
You do remember. I can't believe you actually remember I said that.
Of course, I'm like an elephant.
Well,
I eat a lot.
I have walked behind you. And I just want you to know that right now, when you take a look at this Accutron by Bulova and realize that for under $500, you have a Valjoux 7750 modified inside of here. Okay, I don't understand that. I honestly question for a moment whether that could even be correct, but of course there it is.
Look at those diamond hour markers too. Notice how they're slightly beveled. Oh, you saw that flash of blue. You've got the anti-reflective coating. I would like to try this on if that's okay. Because out of 42mm, I think that this is that kind of unisex timepiece that everyone can enjoy. I mean, you've got sapphire crystals front and back in a Swiss-made watch, a push-button dual deployment clasp. I wish we could remind you of yesterday's variation, which had the black leather strap and the black dial. That one is incredibly handsome as well. You just have to decide for yourself which one works better for you. And yes, this is a much better, cleaner shot here. Look at how gorgeous that is. Step down bezel design. Look at that beautiful sapphire crystal. It's going to be a thicker case, slightly, because you do have a thicker automatic chronograph movement inside. A Valjoux 7750 automatic chronograph in a Swiss-made watch, modified again for the day and date at the 3 o'clock position, under $100 down. This is a $1,600 watch. As you guys know, if you're not familiar, we do not play price lottery, price bingo around here, or we're just selecting numbers out of a hat. These are all verified retail prices. So while you, let's say, might find the Gemini somewhere else for less than $1,600, we here at World of Watches guarantee you will never find it for $489.99. And if you find it for even a penny less somewhere else, we will match it. 226-301. Please consider this absolutely gorgeous watch today.
Wouldn't that be funny if somebody found it for a penny less and then demanded their penny?
Could happen. We would do it.
I know. That's what I really appreciate about our customer service, is that you do have people that possibly, find something like that. They're so accommodating. I happen to love the fact that we have such watch folk all the way around. Even our customer service people are knowledgeable about watches. It's great walking through there and listening to them walk people through some of the watch stuff that comes up. Now, speaking of watch stuff, there is a watch company out there that loves to make big and bold watches. I mean, great designs. And that's Invicta. The S Rally is a big watch. It is bold in its size, in its style, and its configuration. It is the watch that I've chosen to wear throughout the program.
And you almost were going to make it your hot pick, you said.
I was. And then, of course, I saw the Lucien Piccard.
Of course.
Take a peek. This is an all Swiss-made watch. I mean, you need to see this for a moment and realize it is bold in its style and its design. It's almost architecture. And notice that even though it's a big, bold watch, notice how the lugs on the side drop straight down so that the watch is going to have a great fit on the wrist. Now, the Swiss Ronda 515 movement is an incredibly reliable movement. Now, I want you to see, as I'm holding this at an angle, that you happen to have the crystal running all the way across here. It almost looks like it drops down and the crystal is around the inner bezel there. It's not. There's crystal all the way across the top. And look how three-dimensional this looks as we come in even. Look at that anti-reflective coating on there. As I come in even closer, I want you to take a look at this dial and to see all the detail that's within it. I mean, that's nice.
I like that what they did was break out the minute scale on the outer edge like that. It's really interesting because do you see how it lines up perfectly with the hours in that smaller subdial, but then you've got the minute scale? I've never seen that done before.
I think it's very cool because often they have to make a choice between using the Arabic numerals on the outer chapter ring, and then you just have little tiny dots in there or slashes for your seconds. Here, they've given you both because you can see the hand, the sweep hand, passing over, and you can pick how intricate do you want the detail of the timing, whether it's the hour, the minute, the second, down to the second, being able to see without guessing. And I like that. I like the fact that they've put that extra detail in there. And there is a lot of detail in this watch. Take a look at that. Going the distance, the S1 Rally, all Swiss-made stainless steel, even 100 meters of water resistance. And look at the decoration that has been etched into the back of the watch. This is something that most folks will not even see is this back here. And it would have been easy just to put that gold plating on there and be done with it. Instead, they've went ahead and they've put the decoration on. You'll notice that even the sides of the watch are slightly different as there is inlay for the case. And you can see that even the crown has a bit of decoration to it. The watch really is bold. In fact, let me show it to you on the wrist, and you can see that it wears incredibly well. Like I said, 100 meters of water resistance, and the watch is a thick watch. It's 17 millimeters thick, but don't think that's too big because our Abisos is 19 millimeters thick, and it's still a comfortable watch to wear. This is also a comfortable watch. Look at that, and look at the presence that has on the wrist. I think that looks great.
It fits you perfectly, and you know what's interesting is because you've got this thicker area where the lugs are, and those are really, really curved, which you almost don't see in a shot like that because it looks like this long, blocky shaped case. But notice how much it's curved on the sides there. This is a really interesting watch.
Oh, I think so. And I think this would be too large if they had not done this drop down. Let's see if I can get the camera angle just right.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even notice it said that on the side. That's awesome.
You see how this drops down on both sides? It's just a natural part of the architecture of the watch. And if you had a much larger wrist than I do, or my 6 3/4, 7-inch wrist, it's going to fit. There is a substantial buckle on there, and please notice there is a generous amount of strap. I have it just about on its tightest configuration, but notice that if you had a much larger wrist, it's still going to fit. I think the S1 Rally is just right. I've chosen it for the program. It has been comfortable, for the last hour that I've been wearing it, and I feel confident as you get this watch home, you're going to love it as well. Swiss made. That right there should tell you a lot. Of course, you have their proprietary Flame Fusion crystal. You have that freehand configuration with the hour of the minute continuously operating sweep hand and a date complication at the 3 o'clock position. All of this for under $140, and believe it or not, only $28 gets it home. 5 stress-free, interest-free payments, and you don't have to pay for shipping. And you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. 179069, the Invicta S1 Rally. Please add that to your collection.
226-296. We aired some 40mm Kirkwoods yesterday on the show from Accutron by Bulova. This is one of those beautiful timepieces. Oh, wow, we've got 2 options, so we'll each get to try one on.
Which one do you like better?
You pick first.
I'm going to choose the white one.
Here you go.
Did you like the white one?
No, I like them both. We're going to show you 2 different options of the exact same watch, a little bit of a different dial color there.
Look at us on there, and look at the bling on this watch, that high mirror polish.
You can see it all the way from across the room.
Isn't that incredible? It looks wonderful.
So we're starting with yours right over there.
I happen to like this. This is a very elegant edition of this watch. And as we come in even closer, I want you to be able to see that you are getting that open heart configuration one more time. Can you see it right there at the 12 o'clock position? And right over that, even as we come in closer, you're going to be able to see that locked right in within the open heart is the Accutron symbol, which is the original tuning fork. Now, this Kirkwood edition is a Swiss-made automatic that is absolutely beautiful. It is as much jewelry as it is timekeeper. Look at that. I mean, that is so elegant. That sunburst that seems to be coming right from the 12 o'clock position. You have the Arabic numerals, the Roman numerals at the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock position, and replacing the 12 is the Accutron symbol. The watch is very low profile. You can see that it is a 40mm watch. And there is the customized rotor. There is the beating heart from the back. You have sapphire crystal both front and back. The watch is so elegant. And, of course, that dual push button, dual scissor to point. Sorry, I keep dropping it out of frame there. I want you to be able, look at that. They have done, and I think Bulova, over and over again, what have we said, Megan? The bracelets on Bulova are some of the most beautiful and well made. They have done such a good job. Now let me put this on my wrist. I want you to see that it is just the right fit. Now 40mm, I think it's classic. I think this is the right size. Now you can see that beauty shot looking through the Accutron symbol into the beating heart. And you can see the Swiss-made moniker right there at the 6 o'clock position. Now, let's take a look at it on the wrist, and you can see that that's just the right size. Fairly low profile, but a lot of mirror polish on here, so don't try to be subtle when you wear this. There is a variation of this watch in a skeletonized version that when my son saw it, it was like, that's it. That's one of my favorite watches. $1,100, $1,200, not for you. $717 at midnight on Sunday, but don't do that either. $379.99. Only $76 gets it home. That's going to be your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments. But now take a look at a slightly
darker variation?
Yes, it is.
So this is the one that I went with, 226297. I went right to the wrist with it because I want you to be able to see how a 40 millimeter plays even if you've got a 6-inch wrist. And that's exactly what I have. I happen to believe that this is one of those beautiful unisex timepieces. And I know that I always say on the shows that a silver tone watch, ladies, is a wardrobe staple. And this one, yes, perhaps has a bit more of a masculine edge, but I think because of all that fine jeweler's polishing on it, we can still get away with calling it our own. Notice when I let the light hit it just right, you can see under that sapphire crystal, look at the hour markers when they hit the light. Don't they almost look like diamonds sparkling? I mean, it's absolutely incredible how those applied hour markers have such a beautiful polishing to them that they sparkle under the lights. Beautiful, matching that black textured dial. You can see the open heart complication right there. Being that you've got an automatic timepiece, you are looking into the literal heartbeat of your watch. Swiss made 25 joule automatic movement inside. Beautiful curvature to the case. I'm going to slide this off, keeping it in frame here so you can see. Your bracelet, solid end link construction. That's why it's so curved. And then you've got these thick, solid end links of stainless steel. So as Wiley said, a high quality jewelry style bracelet. I want you to see into that beautiful Swiss made automatic movement. You can see a little bit of a polish on the edge of the rotor because Bulova actually dips, or edges, I should say, their rotors in diamond dust. So you've got a little diamond dust on the guillotine right there. Sapphire crystals, of course, front and back, and an absolutely exquisite timepiece that can be yours, not for $1,200, not even for $700, which is what the price will increase to in just a few hours. Tonight at midnight Eastern Standard Time, the price is going up to $700. Now, when you compare that to $1,200, huge savings. But we're at $370 for the show and 5 payments. So a $1,200 watch, we ship to you for free after first payment of $74. Don't let it get away from you whether you go for the black dial or the silver tone. 226297 is the item number for this one.
What is the, don't even look at the screen, don't even think about it. What is one of the #1 brands people are always asking us for?
Michael Kors.
Oh, you knew. Because it's true.
I really did, yeah.
I mean, everybody loves Michael Kors. And it started out as being, it was the ladies who wanted the Michael Kors watches because Michael Kors wanted to make sure that he had timepieces that matched his style and design. You know, when he started out in, 1981 as a fashion designer, I don't think he could ever predict that he was going to be one of the hottest names in fashion. And what you have is by 2006, Michael Kors realized with all of those handbags, all of those shoes, dresses, sport coats, everything you could imagine, there had to be accessories that matched the level of style and sophistication of his fashions. So he decided to create not just timepieces, but fashion pieces. Now, the Winward is one of those watches that, does this not have a vintage racing feel to it? Does this not look
Absolutely.
like a gentleman's watch?
I love that you say that because I think there's a misconception out there that men think Michael Kors only designs women's watches, and that couldn't be farther from the truth.
Oh, this is a very manly watch. I mean, this has a look as if you have a British racing car somewhere, or you happen to have an old school Ferrari. And part of that is, when you want to make something lighter, you would also perforate it like they will do with some of the metal in certain types of racing cars or airplanes. And here they've done that with the very same thing with perforating the genuine leather strap. And then, of course, you have very much the racing feel within the watch itself. It's a chronograph, which adds the sport level to it. And it's a fully functioning chronograph. I mean, simply hitting that pusher at the 2 o'clock is going to start our chronograph. There's our start, our stop, and, of course, our reset. The watch has a lot of style to it. And this is one of those watches that if you're giving as a gift, you notice the high mirror polish. There are those places in the mall. Don't buy the watch in the mall. You can take it there to get it engraved once you're sure you're going to keep it. But don't buy the watch there because you're going to end up paying $325. Michael Kors right now in their boutiques is selling everything right at retail. You might get 10% off, so if you want to save 30 or 40 bucks, that's fine. If you'd like to save, say $125, then you want to buy from us. Nobody, to my knowledge, sells Michael Kors watches for less than we do. And we have a money-back guarantee, so if somebody else, thinks that they have a better price, you can always let us know. We're going to meet or beat the price. Take a peek right there. How do you think that looks? Is this really a 46 millimeter? It almost seems...
Michael Kors is a genius at designing watches that are larger, oversized cases. We see it a lot even with the women's watches, and yet they can size down to even the slimmest of wrists.
All right, I think that this is a good-looking watch. It's a very masculine watch. I realize some watches you're willing to just snag and say, I'll wear that. You might wear this. You could get away with it. You could make anything look feminine. But I'm going to say this is a gentleman's watch.
Absolutely.
Now, if you look at that just for a moment and realize how comfortable that is on the wrist, the look of that, it plays well on the wrist. And notice that even though it is a fashion brand, you still have a unirotating bezel. And you have a lot of contrast between the high mirror polish and the satin finishes. Folks, you will not find this watch for less anywhere else. Maybe there's a gentleman in your life, ladies, that you want to get that. Maybe that's your husband, your boyfriend, your son, the postman. There may be somebody out there that you want to make sure you get a great gift for. Well, here, instead of spending $325, I promise you this is a $325 watch. Go ahead and Google it. Find out what the retail is on this watch. You're going to find it $325. You're going to get it from us for under $200. You do not have to find a coupon. It's going to be free shipping, 30-day money-back guarantee. You're going to absolutely love that. And we're delighted to offer the Michael Kors 46mm Winward. And we are so very pleased. $199, and that is going to be a great price, but maybe you just want to spend $40. That's going to be your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments, and I think you're going to like it. So as we shift gears a little bit, maybe that's a 3-dial chronograph. Maybe you'd like to have a 3-movement watch.
That's right. We've actually got, and how funny, we have 3 different variations to show you of this red line collection. And as Wiley said, you don't get 1 time zone. You get 3 time zones.
And
how
3
cool
movements.
Is that? Yeah. 3 independent movements inside. So we've got 3 different options to show you. So we're going to go with the first one. I think it's the one in your hands right now.
We'll show you close. We'll see as they bring the graphic up. We'll see which one they want us to present first, and then we'll show you that watch. But this is the. Oh, let's see how that looks as they draw in even closer. They're getting a bead on this watch because there's so much going on in the dial because there are 3 individual movements. And as you look right there, you're going to see our main movement, which has the hour, the minute, and a continuously operating sweep hand. And of course, you see the crown that's in red. Well, how do you adjust the others? Please notice that they have cleverly hidden the 2 additional crowns within the case. I think they wanted to keep that sleek look. I mean, it's a jet stream. You don't want things sticking out on the jet stream. And I think this, because red line watches love for things to go fast. Taking it to the red line, whether it is a race car, a cigarette boat, whether it happens to be, like in this one, the jet stream, a jet aircraft. Because you often take the Swiss.
Oh yes, I take the Swiss
private
jet all the time.
I really love how the custom strap meets up to the case, and it really, I mean, you need to know that the rubber strap actually has metal embedded in it, that it meets up to the case, and there is no give in there whatsoever. I cannot believe that for under $100, they have put this much detail into this watch. I have to say, and I say this as a compliment, our designers are crazy because they are obsessive about their watches. They go through levels of detail that you just don't normally find. Not at this price point. This is not what you find in a watch of this price point. And don't you love the satin finish? Wouldn't it have been easy to do a high mirror polish and just go, oh, that's what we always do. Instead, they have used that satin finish. You have the black IP plating on here. This is gorgeous, but maybe this isn't the right color or style for you, so guess what?
Now you get a brighter look with this color variation, 288305. And then why don't you put the third one on?
I would be
Because
delighted.
I went ahead and put a 50 millimeter on my 6-inch wrist. Might seem kind of crazy, but everybody
never
around
fit.
here knows that I am really crazy. And I want you to be able to see at home that maybe you are, I hate to compare my wrist to like a young man, but you know, maybe you have a teenage son or nephew or grandson, maybe somebody that doesn't quite have a bigger wrist yet. I have a 6-inch wrist. You could still get them a 50 millimeter watch. Look at how I have it cinched down to the tightest closure. It fits me very, very well. What's interesting, as Wiley said, is you've got 3 independent movements inside, 3 Miyota movements. The 2 subdials over here are the same movement, and then this one, a slightly larger, is a secondary or a different movement, but there are 3 independent movements inside. And yet, notice even with the watch I'm wearing behind it, they're about the same case thickness. This isn't some crazy tall watch to accommodate all of these movements. They have made this in a very streamlined case. Now, of course, as you're looking into the dial, you'll notice it almost looks like you are looking inside the dashboard or a speedometer in maybe one of those high-end jets or Airstreamers. So it's very, very cool that every single timepiece, depending on the collection, sort of has that simulation. 288305. Now that's for all silver tone with some black and red. You went all black though. Case, dial, strap, triple black.
Low profile. There is no doubt here that this watch is the most stealthy of the 3. And I love that pop of blue that comes through there because it would have been easy for Redline just to continue using red. I like when they surprise us with a different color. Just let us know they have, you know, the Pantone happens to have a few more selections in it. And they've done it here because it would have been easy just to black out the watch. It would have been easy just to throw the red in there. Instead, you have that little splash of blue. And of course, it's exactly what you've seen before, 50 millimeter case. You have that streamlined look, black IP plating. You happen to have the silicone strap. Here, again, on my 6 3/4 inch wrist, it is a great fit. You can see there is a generous amount of strap. You have a much larger wrist than I do, and it is a great fit. What I love is the fact that if you are considering this as a gift, you have a money-back guarantee. Only $99, you are going to get this watch. It's brand new. It's going to even have all the papers, all the things, that just like you would pay retail at $300-400 in the department store, but instead you're going to get it for $99. Or maybe this is just not the right timing to put out $100. So we'll go with $25.
I like this with the pop of blue. I think this is of the 3 is my favorite.
Mine too, because it really just, the others are great. I do like it. But this, to me, I think has a bit more uniqueness to it. There's just something that it doesn't look, I mean, the others are great. And if you've chosen one of the others, you have a great selection. But, you know, we were talking, David Z and I were talking today about watches are such a personal thing. They have to be just right for you. And I love that Redline creates a lot of variety so that you do get just the right fit.
Absolutely. 288306, that's the item number if you like this all blacked out with the blue. Moving on now to Seiko, 278044. Interestingly enough, a lot of our own brands, including Lucien, Piccard, and Redline, we actually use movements manufactured by Seiko as well as Citizen. But here we're going straight to the source with a 44 millimeter Seiko Solar with their own in-house movement.
You know, we've talked about Citizen a lot, about the Echo Drive, and they have saved how many, 20 million batteries or whatever. It's just, because 80% of their watches have the Echo Drive, which uses light to help power the watch. Well, you forget that Seiko has been around, you know, as a jewelry store since 1881 and as a watch builder since 1924. And you know that they're one of those watches that everybody knows, everybody trusts. If you get a Seiko watch as a graduation gift, as a birthday present, somebody spent some money on you. Well, here is a $475 watch that's using the Seiko Solar Drive. And it allows light to penetrate the dial, and it charges up a secondary power source within the watch so that 1 minute of light is equal to 1 hour of power for the watch. Now, don't worry, there's up to 6 months power reserve locked in there, so if the watch was in total darkness, don't worry, you're still doing all right. Now, you also have secondary time zone, an alarm, a chronograph, The V172 movement on the inside is what's going to be powering that watch. I love the fact that they have the skeletonized hands on there, which is just kind of an homage. Here's a very modern watch with just a little touch of old school.
It's nice that they also do a nice bit of polishing because it does keep that sort of daily wear watch, something that you could dress up for the office. In fact, I saw a gentleman recently that was dressed up, and I noticed that he was wearing a Seiko watch, and I thought, oh, that's so interesting because it is one of those brands that so many people own. They are not cheap to say. I mean, a nearly $500 watch is certainly not a cheap watch at all. And then you've got all this great functionality and the sportiness that you could very easily wear it on the weekends. I see this as being a great watch to give maybe a young man, maybe as his first nice watch, maybe his 18th birthday, or he's in college for the holidays coming up. It's just got one of those great versatilities. You could dress it up for date night, or you could wear it to a job interview, or even just every day with a pair of jeans.
But with 100 meters of water resistance in this watch,
You could go swimming.
but you can still go out to the beach. You can go on vacation. This is the watch that if you're going on a cruise or you're going on vacation and you're like, well, I want to take a dress watch, but I need a sport watch. We're going to go hiking and we might get wet. And we're going to be in the water. Okay, this is it.
Uh-huh.
And you're never, ever, ever going to have to change the battery. I mean, how many times have you and I had this discussion about watch batteries?
It's so annoying, and it almost feels like they all die at the same time.
Yes, it's like they have a pact, and when they're all in the drawer together, they talk
they're
about,
going to do this all at once.
time, let's go. And then they just, and then you're like, oh, great, there's $800 in watch batteries.
It's so true. It's so true.
Friends, this Seiko right now is right here for you. It's not going to give out. The battery is not going to throw itself off the dresser and go, I'm tired of being here. This one is going to last. And I happen to love this. I mean, this is just a great looking watch, but maybe.
I'll hold that one up too.
Of course you're going to take that one.
Well, I'll do a little side-by-side comparison because you know what's interesting? We talked about this, I believe it was last week on the show. I was saying that rarely do we see enough men's watches or even ladies' watches.
In gunmetal.
In gunmetal. Now, the silver tone seems a bit dressier, but I'm going to hold them up side by side very quickly because I know we're already moving into our second hour. I want to hold them up side by side so you can see. The item number on the screen, 278045, will be for the gunmetal variation. And I'm holding up the one that Wiley just tried this one on. And here is the exact same watch. You know what's cool? This is all silver tone with the gunmetal bezel. This is all gunmetal with the silver tone bezel. It's like a little bit of an opposite. This is the one that we're looking at right now. Very quickly, I will just slip this onto my wrist. Push button, single fold, deployant closure on there. 44 millimeter case. I like this one in the sense that the bezel really pops, more so than the bezel pops, I would say, on the other one. When you come in closer, though, you'll see that this watch, to me, looks sportier. I think that the silver tone has more versatility to perhaps be dressed up slightly more with a suit. Once again, looking at that 6 o'clock subdial, you do have the alarm complication and, as Wiley said, that secondary time zone. This one, slightly more expensive because now you're paying for gunmetal plating. Seiko will give you an upcharge for that, so we add just a couple dollars on there. If you're using the stress-free payments, though, you won't even notice those monthly payments increasing. 278045 is the item number for this one. $206 if you go with the gunmetal.
Which do you like better?
Silver tone.
You see, you just had all the merits of that.
I know.
But you like the silver tone.
I think that the silver tone can be dressed up or dressed down. If you're looking to get a casual watch, go for the gunmetal.
I think
But
the gunmetal
I
looks
know.
very sophisticated.
We're always so opposite. Here we are, moving into our second hour together, ladies and gentlemen. So glad you guys are joining us on this wonderful day. You have until midnight Eastern Standard Time to get all of these prices and the stress-free payments. And yesterday's lineup is still posted at WorldofWatches.tv. A lot of the watches that we're showing you today, we did air other color variations of them yesterday. So you can go to WorldofWatches.tv and see all of that there. Plus, about 100 or so additional watches that we just don't have the time in 6 hours over a weekend to get to. So we do give you the 4, 5, and 6 stress-free payments and the TV price. So always consult WorldofWatches.tv, our little microsite on WorldofWatches.com, of course, so you can see even more watches with the TV price and payments. We're going to jump into a preview now, show you what's coming up in our second hour together.
Lucien
Ooh.
Piccard once again.
This is a mechanical.
Oh, that is really beautiful. And maybe you do not have a mechanical watch in your collection, and this may be the very first. Now, you know, watches have a variety of ways to power them. If you have a mechanical watch, it has to be wound at the crown. If you have an automatic watch, it can be wound at the crown, but usually the motion of the body is going to wind a rotor, which is going to power the mainspring. If you have a quartz movement, it's going to have a battery source on the inside. If you have a solar watch, such as the Echo Drive or the Seiko Solar, then it's going to have light penetrating the dial, and it's going to power up that it's going to power up the watch. Here you have this wonderful high-end Chinese movement within this Lucien Piccard watch that is going to be an incredible mechanical movement, and all you have to do is wind that crown, and you're going to be going back in time, because you're going back to the way watches and timekeepers were, and that is hand winding either through the crown or a key to make sure that spring is wound. And it's just really cool if you just have one in your collection. If you're a real watch nut, you have to have one. And this 20 jewel mechanical is one that you will not regret. Only $144, not $700 or the $300 price. We think you're gonna like it. It's only $29. Get it home. We'll show you more about that live in just a moment. You've got to be kidding, it's back.
The Big Bang King Black Magic, my favorite name of all watches.
You know, it's one of those watches that the moment you put it on, you feel special, because you and I have been taunted long enough.
Oh, yes.
You know, down here in Miami, the glorious Hollywood and Fort Lauderdale area, there are billboards for Hublot watches everywhere. And this watch is 44 millimeters. It has the Hublot 1400 movement inside, which is a 23 jewel automatic sapphire crystal. And you're going to love that ceramic and titanium case. This watch with a rubber strap, which was invented by Hublot. That goes back to 1980 when they were at the Basel Watch Fair, and they first introduced a natural rubber strap. Took them 3 years to come up with the right formulation, and they put it on a luxury watch. They laughed them out until a few days later when all the interest took, and now look at Hublot. 300 meters of water resistance and 42 hours of power reserve in this $17,000 hand-built luxury watch that you're getting for $9,000 off the retail price. Do you realize for every watch you buy, you save $9,000? If you buy enough of them, you'll be rich. Folks, I can't wait to show you this watch in person. It's one of my favorite watches, and I'm hoping that they'll give me one here for Christmas. 2784. But you know what? At the stress-free payments, it becomes much more attainable.
Who needs a mortgage?
But you know, we do take those luxury timepieces and make them a bit more attainable. Certainly by cutting the price in half, and then by putting the stress-free payments.
I'm always very attracted to this 46 millimeter Precisionist. You guys know it's no secret, I love black and rose together. And I like that this is full-on rose with the black dial, black bezel mix there. Of course, this is one of those incredible Bulova Precisionist, one of the best-selling collections that we air in Wowtv history. You've got the world's most accurate movement, one of the most precise chronographs we ever air, down to 1/1000th of a second accuracy. That's right. We can time the Olympics with a watch like this. 200 meters of water resistance means we can also go scuba diving in it. But beware, as you'll see when we air this live, it's a big timepiece. It's weighty, it's cool, it's got a presentation to it.
But how accurate? Because, you know, I have quartz movement watches, and they're accurate to within 10 seconds per month.
Oh, no. This is what, 10 to 15 seconds per year?
10 seconds per year. Isn't that amazing? $329, and it is incredible.
All right. I went right to the wrist with my hot pick, the 4220 from Nixon. It's a 200-meter diver in a 42 millimeter case, hence the 4220, 42 millimeters, 20 atmospheres. Super comfortable. It is a stainless steel case, but it's all wrapped in rubber to match the rubber strap. And it is so easy to wear, especially, if you're a lefty like me, because this is how it will look on your right wrist. I know that sounds kind of strange, but I'm a lefty, so I wear my watches on my right wrist. So the crown is always backwards. It's always towards the inside by my elbow. So if I want to ever set something, I have to take the watch off. Nixon, looking out for me and my fellow lefties out there. Now the crown and pushers are on the outside of the wrist. Very easy to wear. It's a little bit of a taller case, but you won't even notice it because it is so lightweight thanks to all of that rubber. The 200-meter diver with the unidirectional rotating bezel, means that you can wear this on a boat. I would wear this to the gym, to the beach, when you're going on vacation. It's just a watch that you don't even have to think about when you've got it on. You're protected with the movement inside, which is a reliable Japanese chronograph movement inside. Look at this. Even because it's a diver, what you actually have to do to set your chronograph is unscrew your pushers. That further guarantees that your movement inside is protected when you're swimming and diving. Because it's a left-handed watch, you'll notice that the subdials look a little bit different. It's actually because the movement inside is backwards. So I'm actually going to start and stop my chronograph using my lower pusher and then reset with my top pusher. Look how fast that swings around. You've also got a bit of lume in all three hands, so you can easily tell the time after dark or underwater. And one last thing, look at that. You see that flash of blue? That's what I wanted to show you earlier. Anti-reflective coating over that crystal. Because everything's wrapped in rubber, you don't have to baby the watch. The watch does not need to be babied. It's a name brand sport luxury style. Moms and dads out there, grandmas and grandpas, you've got a teenager in your life, you get them a Nixon watch, you've got some street cred now. 271-455. You don't have to spend $375. Absolutely not. $25 down on any major credit card. It ships brand new in the box mañana.
I know a ton of people that would love to have that watch.
Oh, I bet.
But maybe you need something a bit more dressy, a bit more luxurious, and you don't want to change that price point too much. Might I suggest to you one of those brands that has been around since 1923, and that's Lucien Piccard. As we've picked up the mantle to take the helm of that great watch brand, we have been adding great designs. And I think the 44mm Optima automatic is one that you're going to absolutely love. Folks, it's a 44mm case. It's made of 316L stainless steel. You have the Japanese PTS movement on the inside, which is a beautiful automatic movement. There are 50 meters of water resistance within this watch, even within this dress watch. You have a stylized crown that's on here. But I want you to look past the Roman numerals that are in the outer chapter ring, drawn even closer to that crescent moon cutaway, and look into the beating heart of the watch. You're seeing that balance wheel spinning freely, that beautiful perlage bridge that goes across, and then you're seeing through, can you see the gears moving right through there? It's a three-hand configuration, the hour, the minute, continuously operating sweep hand, and the watch just looks flawless. Now what I love is that the sweep hand stretches past the skeletonized portion and reaches all the way to the outer chapter ring. This allows for you to accurately tell the seconds, and because the stylized hands, notice there's enough lume on there, and it just changes the look enough against that black background that you can see the time easily. You can't always do that with a skeletonized movement. Now I'm going to flip this over. I want you to be able to see the back of the watch. I want you to be able to see inside. Now this is a single scissor deployant, which means it's a pry apart, but look right there into the back of the watch. You can see the beating heart right over there, which is your balance wheel. You'll see that illusion style, as Megan calls it, our illusion style rotor, because that does almost look like jewels in there, but that's actually a filigree work, and it runs through the entire movement. This is what amazes me. Megan, both you and I know that with some Far East movements and so forth, they're functional and reliable, but sometimes they can be very plain because they're put into a beautiful watch case, but you don't see much more. The customization that has been done here is pretty phenomenal. Now I'm going to see if I can wind this, and you can see right in there to see, I want you to see that brass wheel moving, that gear. As I rotate that, that is actually moving the smallest of gears inside of there, the one here, and it is literally manually winding the watch. But you don't have to do that. You can if you want to add some extra power, but notice that rotor is what's going to power the watch. You'll never have to buy a battery with an automatic. And this is the first one you've ever added to your collection. Well, you will not be disappointed. See how the light reflects off that? You can see the high mirror polish that's on some of the gold pieces that are on the inside. That gold tone looks fantastic. $600-700, you will if you want to. I would not suggest it. The wow price of $174 is pretty spot on, and you won't be disappointed. But the show price is $144.99. Only $29 gets it home. Free shipping, money back guarantee. We guarantee you'll not find it for less. 283084, the Lucien Piccard 44mm Optima is my top pick.
Now, last hour, we aired a 42mm Gemini from Accutron by Bulova. And this hour, we are bringing you out the exact same watch in a different color variation. Now you've got a rich, almost rose tone with that bark brown, genuine leather strap and a black dial. I like this one a lot because you've got the black dial with the rose and then the brown strap.
You know what I like about this particular variation? The dial, it really pops with Swiss made. This is just one of those watches that you want folks to know. This is not just your pedestrian watch. This is not the watch that you're going to buy just anywhere, because Bulova is a very popular brand, building watches since 1875. For heaven's sakes, they're everywhere. But when you start heading into the Accutron label, and you can see that prominently displayed at the 2 o'clock position, you're heading into the luxury arm of Bulova. Then you can look at the 6 o'clock position to know that you're in the ultra high-end Swiss-made division. This is a $1,700 Swiss-made watch. Now, this movement may look familiar to you, because is this not the modified?
Absolutely.
Valjoux 7750? Once again. Now, because of the gold plating on this one, this is just a tad more expensive than the other.
Gorgeous, though. Yeah, the other one was at $490, so now you're at $530. But you know what's interesting is if you're using the stress-free payments, it's only a little bit more a month that way, if that helps at all. I like this one even more. I think this is my favorite.
I think this is beautiful. As you come in even closer, they're going to switch to a new shot, and I want you to see inside that beautiful, look at that. It's so delicate. I mean, I love the fact that here is a Swiss-made watch, sapphire crystal both front and back, water resistant to 50 meters. You know, you have to have a pretty rugged case to have that kind of water resistance. Because, you know, even some of our luxury watches are only splash proof. I was doing a watch video for a Cartier. Now, that's an expensive watch, but it was only splash proof.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to be so careful then?
With her champagne. Oh, splash champagne on my Cartier. This is just one of those watches that they've built a case that is tough enough that it's like, you know, an outdoor watch. Like you're ready to go. And
this watch is stunning. I cannot say enough about how much I like this watch. I would have even made this my pick maybe on the show today. I love
Do you want to try this on in
texture.
just a second?
I will try it on when you're done, please. I love the texturing inside the dial, as I said with the one we aired last hour. And I know we've talked about this before, I think it's very cool when watch designers, and we do this with some of our own brands, when they do a watch that will have a black dial and a brown strap. Because I know everybody's always like, you can't wear black and brown together. I like this a lot.
I want you to try this on, because even though this is a 42 millimeter, which is a classic gentleman's size watch, you know that in the 21st century, ladies can do whatever they want.
Very easy. If you want to come in close, I'll actually show you here how we can adjust the strap, because it will size down even to my 6-inch wrist. And I'll show you that right now. Let me set it back to where it was so we can show you how easy it is to do, because sometimes people get a little confused. I know I was before I came here.
A deployant class, how to work a deployant. Very important.
So let's take a look at this right here.
They're coming in
now. So, of course, we got this single fold customized deploying class. What you actually do is back here, this portion of it back here actually just pops off. You just use your fingernail. And then what you're able to do is just slide this up and down the strap. Because I've got a 6-inch wrist, I'm going to go a little bit closer towards some of those tighter holes. I'll go to the second tightest one just to see. Now I've tightened it down. It's just that easy and it stays. So I'm going to slide this onto my wrist, close down one side, of course, just pop that side down. And then as Wiley showed, I believe it was with his hot pick, you just simply fold it over and you've got it on the wrist. Interestingly enough, I actually made it just a hair too tight, which means, ladies or gentlemen, if you've got under a 6-inch wrist, this will fit your wrist. So yes, at 42 millimeters, it might be technically considered a gentleman's luxury timepiece, but I think, as they've shown here with the strap, a lot of us can enjoy it. And look, I love to show that, the anti-reflective coating over the sapphire crystal. This one is a superstar to me. This is the winning one, but I want you to see one more time the color variation we had last hour, 226301. Silver tone dial and case, and then that same brown genuine leather strap. Again, it is a modified Valjoux 7750. As Wiley mentioned, it's a little bit less money here. You're about $30 to $40 less overall because you're not getting any plating. Stress-free payments here go to $98 a month. 226301 for the Swiss-made Gemini from Bulova.
Quick, choose. Which one? Silver or gold? The watch you just saw.
Oh, the one that we just aired. I mean, the black and rose.
You like it.
I love it.
The other one, I really am attached to that, but this really looks good.
Moving on now, our first mechanical, I think, in 2 weeks on the show.
You know, they're a little scarce because everybody loves their automatics, and quartzes are certainly very, very convenient. But here is one of the watches that maybe if you just take a moment to peek into it, take a look, and you can tell me what you think. Now, this is one of those watches. I've taken the deployant and opened it so that we can get into the back of the watch more easily. But let's come in close on this. And I want you to look at maybe a conservative version of the watch and then a bit more dressy version of the watch. The Morgana Mechanical is just one of those watches that it looks very traditional except for that open heart configuration. You realize there's just something going on there where you go, you know what? That's cut away, isn't it? And it's not just the open heart. You notice they've given you a bit more of the, not just the balance wheel, but the escapement.
You can see almost the entire thing there.
Oh, that's perfect. Because you have the balance wheel. Here's our little magic pointy thing. Here is our balance wheel right here. But notice you can actually see into the escapement. You don't usually get to see that. Now, if that's not a good enough view for you, looking at that beautiful dial, the stylized, kind of, what would you call that? It's kind of a satin finish, but it's also a bit of, there's a bit of a sheen to it, almost a silk.
It does have a satin finish to it, because I think other times it's hard to differentiate at times between like a satin brushing and a matte finishing. That is really a satin brush dial.
It looks to me almost like silver silk.
It's beautiful. Oh, that's a nice way to describe it.
And then I just made that up. But it's
Paint
really,
a picture.
I really do like this because it's not overstated. It would have been easy to just kind of gild the lily on this, and they didn't do it. Now, I want you to see the back of the watch, because that's where a lot of the magic happens. As we turn this over, I'm going to see how close you can get on this, and I'll hold this very, very still, and the lovely and talented Miss Harris will begin to wind that watch. Look at that.
Now, you were saying earlier, is it possible to overwind a mechanical movement as opposed to an automatic movement?
Gasp, yes. Folks, and a mechanical movement, you are literally moving the innards of that watch without a clutch, which means you're winding to the point where the spring...
Look, I just got to it, so I can't... You'll feel the crown, sorry for interrupting, but you'll feel the crown do a little bit of a kickback, like you cannot force it and you don't want to.
There is a very, very tiny spring in here, which is our power source, and this is literally manually winding it. You saw each one of those gears until they locked into place to grab that spring and move it. Now, I do want to put a little caveat here. The majority of automatic movements, which would have a rotor, there's no rotor on this, you cannot overwind. I did actually encounter one the other day that I was manually winding it, and I got to that magic stopping point.
Interesting.
And it may have just been through the crown that you could, it locked up, but the rotor would disengage. And you do want to be careful because this is one of those classic timepieces that really harkens back. It harkens back to just a different era. Now, is that watch too large for you? What size is that watch?
This is a 45mm case. We do have another variation that perhaps you should try on the next variation.
I like the silver, but I
love the rose.
You and I are now, we're now
I know that
running
rose
hand in
tends to
hand.
make things look dressier, of course, but there's just something nice about that. It really, because you've got the mechanical, so you've got something that's got that old world look to it. It feels more vintage. It feels and looks more expensive. I say if you're going to go for it with one of these Lucien Piccards and they already have that high-end luxury look, go all the way. Ooh, I like the step-down bezel design.
I'll tell you what I like is the contrast between the gold and the silver. There's just something about it there that really pulls your eye in, and you realize what they've done. The other one with the contrast between the matte and the satin finish was elegant, but here it just has enough pop to it. Look as the light reflects. You're seeing the high polish that's on the hour indices and around the ring. That is where the cutaway is to look into the escapement, into the open heart. This is, again, a fantastic watch value to get this mechanical at this price. Once again, just to show you, just in case you're just tuning in, this is a mechanical watch. There is no battery in here, and there is no rotor, so no matter how much you move, it will not wind the watch. It is a simple winding of this crown. And I think true watch collectors have at least one, just at least one mechanical watch in there, because it really harkens back to the way things used to be. And it's a great way to just see the, I guess, that old school look. Megan, would you be so kind as to lend your beautifully manicured nails?
Absolutely.
Now, can you see right behind that larger wheel that's spinning, there is a spring?
Right there?
Mm-hmm. And that will eventually tighten up, and she will not be able to wind that anymore. When she reaches that point of slight resistance, stop.
And you can totally tell when it is, too.
Yeah, this is not like your car where you're like, I'm going to get a few more pumps in.
Oh, yeah, no. You can feel it.
Yeah, it's like, I bet I can get a little bit more wind out of this.
No,
Don't do that. You will break the teeth, and that will break the bank, because you'll all but have to replace the watch. Folks, $149.99, not $300, not $700, but only $30 to get it home and $149 in the total price. 287738 for the Lucien Piccard Morgana Mechanical. Talking about great value, stocking stuffers, a gift idea, or just a fun watch for yourself, might I suggest the Redline 48mm Apex 12. This is a watch that has been tried, true, and tested. It is a great configuration and a great look. It is all blacked out, but you have a pop of red because Redline likes to make it look a little bit more bold, and you're going to get a little pop of red right there on the crown. Megan and I both agree that there's a sportiness to that perforated silicone strap, which mates right up to the case. In fact, it covers part of the case and gives you a soft touch feel. You also have black IP plating on the rest of the case, which you can see part of the bezel right there. A comfortable watch, that little bit of knurling on there makes it easy to adjust the crown, and it's at the silly low price of $8.33.
And that's with free shipping. Think about all the other networks, all the other websites. Anywhere you go where you would order something online or over the phone, you always pay for shipping, or you have to spend a certain amount of money to get free shipping. Here, you can put down $8.33 on any major credit card, and we cover the cost of shipping this to you. How amazing is that?
I found a discounted item, which I will not mention, underwear, and I thought, I'm going to buy an entire package. And you know what? The shipping was more expensive than...
That's happened to me before.
I was not happy about that.
Or then I'll find myself on these websites. I'm like, oh, it's only $35 to get free shipping. So I'm spending. Then before I know it, I'm like, I don't even need these things. Just save $10 in shipping.
Okay, a little bit of complaining here. One of those websites that will remain completely anonymous, Amazon, they had $35 for free shipping. One of the items was not available, so they charged me for shipping for everything else.
Oh, that stinks.
Didn't even get a chance, and we will not do that to you. We
Never.
are watchmakers, watch designers, and we really want you to be happy, and your satisfaction is our goals. That's why there's a money-back guarantee, and the price match will meet it or beat it, and we also want to give you free shipping and make it easy for you. So please, please, please consider shopping with us. Are we at the halfway point?
We are at the halfway point. I
Goodness.
was just about to say, we've made it, ladies and gentlemen. We are halfway through the show. We've got an hour and a half left, which means you've got an hour and a half left to shop, and the prices and the stress-free payments expire at midnight tonight, Eastern Standard Time. So do not delay. We're going to do a top 10 now. We're going to show you what the 10 best-selling items of the show are so far. Now keep an eye out, because we might even have some items from yesterday's show in this top 10.
That is a good point. You realize that we put hundreds of items at these crazily low prices, but we can't show them all, not even in 6 hours on a weekend show. We can't do it. So that means you're going to have to go to the website, take a peek, and get to look at even some things we haven't had a chance to broadcast, and you may find just what you're looking for.
All right, the 10 best-selling items, starting with number 10, is a watch we haven't even aired yet.
We are so good that just by thinking about watches, people buy them. The 46 millimeter Ecosphere is part of the Eco Drive collection from Citizen. Now remember, all 80% of Citizen watches have the Eco Drive within them, which means you'd never, ever have to buy a battery. The titanium lithium-ion battery on the inside powers the watch, and it's powered by light. This is a great version as a chronograph with that pop of blue, and they have this in other colors too. So if this isn't the right one, you got to take a peek. There's some other color varieties of this watch. It is a beautiful watch, and we want to show it to you live. And if some of you have already been purchasing.
Coming in at number 9, 287-848, the 38mm Blue Genève from Swiss Legend. This is the newest Swiss-made Swiss Legend in the smallest size, meant for us ladies. Here, you've got a two-piece dial with the outer edge, a beautiful blue mother of pearl. This is actually one of the most beautiful color variations. It's on a soft-touch silicone strap. Your bezel insert is ceramic. And guess what? Not only is it a Swiss-made watch, it's a 200-meter diver. $170, or your first payment of $34. It ships a Swiss-made watch for $170. 287-848, that's number 9.
And right behind that.
Oh, this is coming up in our 3rd hour. This is a brand new Ingersoll watch. And look, people are already shopping for it.
You know what? One of the best things we've ever done was develop a relationship with Ingersoll watches. You know, they have been in the watch business since 1892, when the Ingersoll brothers started out with their catalog in 1882. By 1892, they were selling watches for only $1. Well, we're not too much higher than that, because here's a $500 watch for only $189, and that is a bargain. It's a limited edition Coronado automatic multifunction. Both you and I love multifunctions because they just happen to have a bit more versatility than your chronograph. These have been such well-made watches and so well-received. Every single person that I've talked to that's purchased one of these watches has loved it, and they've become collectors of Ingersoll. So let us show you this in just a moment. Maybe you'll want to add this to your collection as well.
All right, coming in at number 7, 289-541, another Swiss-made Swiss Legend. This one using the all-new ISA 8361 quartz chronograph movement. This is the ISA's newest chronograph movement, and we here at Swiss Legend are one of the first brands to feature it. The Legacy chronograph, again a 200-meter diver in a Swiss-made watch. This one a little bit more money, $225, 5 payments of $45. 289-541, Swiss-made watch coming in at number 7.
I like that watch a lot. Cool. The new designs have just blown me away. Speaking of blowing me away, we are the #1 authorized seller of Invicta watches in North America. And the fact that we get a chance to smatter them on the program, hopefully making you folks happy, we're delighted to be able to offer the 40mm Speedway chronograph. Now, this watch has a look of a very famous watch brand that happens to love Daytona, where I happen to be from. I'm not mentioning the watch, of course, the city which I'm from. And this is a gorgeous variation of the watch, and here for only $79.99, you're getting an awful lot of style, an awful lot of design, and a combination that I have not seen anywhere else. I mean, this color combination is stunning, and that's why people are buying it, because for only $20 with free shipping, you're getting this watch home, and I promise you, you're not going to be disappointed. And if you are, send it back. We'll pay for it to come back to us. Shop with confidence.
Number 5, I'm so glad to see this high up in the countdown. The 42mm Gemini from Accutron by Bulova. Congratulations. This is a stunning, stunning Swiss-made watch. And this is my favorite color combination of the ones we've aired. You have a Valjoux 7750 automatic chronograph movement. That's right. The same Valjoux 7750 that usually retails for $1,000 and up is yours for $530. This has a gorgeous, gorgeous textured black dial. I love this watch. Rose tone, all mirror polished for the case and bezel, and then that dark brown croco embossed genuine leather strap. You even get a modified movement as they've added a day and date complication to the 3 o'clock position. $106. I'd use the payments interest free. Why not? 226304. That's number 5.
Oh, here it is, the 44mm Optima. Now, this is that beautiful watch that if you can't really decide between an open heart and a skeletonized movement, choose this. Just as Megan said, that crescent moon-shaped cutaway
Beautiful.
is really an homage to timekeeping itself. Whether it's the sun or moon, I mean, think about Movado using the rising sun. Here's Lucien Piccard using the crescent moon cutaway. And you look into the beating heart of the watch, you have that great knurled or pearlaged bridge right there over the open heart. You get to see a bit more of the inner workings. Yet with those classic Roman numerals all the way around the dial, it has a look of a vintage piece. You have certainly the exhibition back that allows you to see even better into that automatic movement. You'll never have to buy a battery. It's simply the movement of your wrist. $149.99. Only $30 gets it home. What a stunning timepiece. Go ahead and add this to your collection, as so many already have.
Coming in at number 3, no surprise, we know how excited you guys are, as we are, to now be having Invicta on Wowtv with payments. Swiss-made Invicta. That's right, a Swiss-made watch for $140. It features the Ronda 515 quartz movement inside. Notice how interesting the dial layout is. The outer chapter ring has the minute scale on it, and then the center portion has your hours. Of course, that has a very cool racing-inspired design. And yes, at 17 millimeters thick, it is a brick of a case. But it sizes down to even a 6.5-inch wrist because it is so curved. You get 100 meters of water resistance and a Flame Fusion proprietary crystal. $28 down for a Swiss-made watch. $179,069. That's number 3.
Look at number 2.
My hot pick. No surprise here. You're getting a $375 Nixon for 99 bucks. This is a 42 millimeter timepiece, so it's a perfect unisex watch. It's all blacked out. You do get super luminova on the hands to be able to tell the time after dark or under the sea, if you will. It's a left-handed configuration, so lefties rejoice. Plus, you've got that Japanese chronograph quartz movement inside. The entire timepiece is wrapped in a rubberized coating, so it's lightweight and it's comfortable, and it won't scratch or scratch you. 271-455, the 4220, my hot pick at number 2.
Don't you think it was interesting that yesterday my hot pick was number 2 and yours was number 1, and today...
Maybe people just felt bad for you.
Wow, you really have a way of...
With words?
Yep, we'll just talk later, Megan.
I think it's because we both are getting so well at picking. Well, we're always picking like brand new items and stuff, and everybody wants new.
Don't try to make it better. You know what? I want your sympathy vote, Megan. I think the audience has spoken. Actually, I think we have great watch designers and Lucien Piccard.
Yeah, we have nothing to do with it.
We really don't. I mean, when we pick watches, we pick what we like. And obviously the Nixon watch is really, it's hitting a button right now because that is a fantastic selection, but mine's better. The Lucien Piccard 44-meter Optima is a well-designed watch all the way around. And just as you've seen, there was one that was at the number 6 or number 5 position, also with that crescent moon configuration, 44-millimeter case. Beautiful mineral crystal protecting that dial. It almost looks invisible there. That's such high quality. 316L stainless steel. You have the Japanese PTS movement inside. 50 meters of water resistance. And the watch is 13 millimeters thick. Look at that high mirror polish. You can also almost see into our studio there. Flip it over and you're going to look at that highly decorated. Why, that's a great shot, folks. Look at that highly decorated movement on the inside and that beating heart. This is just one of those timepieces that you're going to relish looking at the back. And look at what happens when you do a manual wind. You can see the movement actually moving in time with every motion, not just of the moving of that crown, but also the moving of that rotor. You'll never have to buy a battery. A stunning timepiece. This easily should be at the $250 mark. The $174 mark is a bargain price. Why in the world they've marked it down even more, I'm not sure, but here it is at $144.99, or only $29 to get it home. 283084 gets you the Lucien Piccard 44-millimeter Optima. And if you're wondering how a 44-millimeter watch looks on the wrist, I have a 6 3/4-inch wrist, just under 7 inches. Take a look right here and see what you think. I think that's a perfect fit. With what I'm wearing a darker button down right now. It's very sophisticated, and all the bright work. Can you see the Roman numerals and the work that's done around the opening for the beating heart, and certainly the hour, minute, and second indices really pops. So this is one of those watches that is understated, elegant, graceful. It is perfect for the office or going out to dinner, going to dinner theater, or maybe even taking on the cruise with you. Not that you'd want to get that leather strap wet, but knowing that if you were out there, got caught in the rain with 50 meters of water resistance, the watch is going to hold up. We are delighted to be able to offer that to you, and I hope that you'll want to bring it home as soon as possible. 283084 Lucien Piccard 44mm Optima. Now, coming up right behind that, that was the number one, by the way. We have another selection for, oh, it's the Citizen.
This is gorgeous because of that rich blue contrasted with the black. 271534. It's the 46mm Ecosphere from Citizen. How appropriate with the Eco Drive movement. We were just talking about the Seiko solar movement and the Citizen Eco Drive being about the same, or having sort of a similar functionality behind them, being very green and eco-friendly.
You know, Megan, before you were born...
I believe it.
You're so vicious, you're wicked. I mean, it's just, it rolls off of your tongue. But before the days of recollection for you, solar power watches were a big deal when quartz movements came out. And now we only have 4 of these watches remaining.
Oh, these might even sell out.
Oh, they're going to sell out, because at $400 they would sell out. At $237, somebody will buy all 4 of them. Seriously.
I believe it.
Folks, solar watches used to have very clear solar panels on them. And it was just kind of a cool thing back when quartz watches first came out. The Eco Drive, particularly the B620 movement that's in here, it's going to allow light to penetrate the dial, and it's going to power up the titanium lithium-ion battery. What does that mean? It means that this watch will never be opened by you and probably never be opened by a jeweler. Why? Because you're never going to need to change the battery. Light is what powers the watch. Now you can see the hour, the minute, and the continuously operating sweep hand at the 6 o'clock position, but simply hitting that stylized pusher is going to start our chronograph, stop it, and there's our reset right at the 4 o'clock position. Between the 4 and 5 o'clock, you even have a reverse date wheel date complication. I think that's pretty cool. Now, don't even try to rotate that tachymeter style bezel because it's locked into place, but you do still have 100 meters of water resistance. Now, the strap can fit up to an 8-inch wrist, so do not worry if you have a little bit larger wrist. Now, the black and blue IP plating on here really does look phenomenal. And you'll notice that on the strap, there is almost an arrowhead configuration at the end of it that allows the keeper to lock under it so it doesn't come out of place. And I think that's pretty cool. Now, you know, I like this. I like this a lot because often you'll see blue in a dial, but they don't carry it through to the case itself. Now, you can see the blue in the dial, and you can see part of it in the chapter ring, but notice that it's also in part of the case. And that goes all the way around. So you have black IP plating and blue IP plating. You also have that beautiful black polyurethane strap, and here is that arrowhead I was talking about that just locks it in place so that it doesn't come out of the keeper easily. I hate when I have a watch and it just, it pops out and you're constantly putting it back into place. This is designed to stay in place, and that's going to make you happy. You can see that there is a 3-lug design. Did you notice that before, Megan? There's a 3-lug design on this watch, and there's a custom strap that mates up to it. You know, one of our Alini watches also has that 3-lug design, and there's just something nice because it just tells anybody out there looking at it, it's all custom.
Yep.
It's not just pulled off the shelf and thrown on there. This is a unique watch. The 46mm Ecosphere is one that you're going to really appreciate its value, and with only 4, you need to act fast if you're going to get one. If you are calling in and it's already sold out, it may take a moment for it to reach our desk here. We apologize if it's already sold out. It is truly one of those moments, and there's no pressure here. We want you to shop with confidence, but you do have to act fast. If we have limited quantities, we're going to try to pass it on to you. You know, sometimes don't you get an email of somebody saying, hey, you were talking about something and it's already sold out?
Yeah, that's the worst.
We really do, because, we're in the studio here, and as we're broadcasting live, occasionally things will sell out, and you're calling in and going, why are they still talking about it? Well, it may take a moment for it to reach us, but we do want you to be happy with what you find. And I think with the next election, you're going to be pretty happy. Megan, I think this is one maybe you might want to present, because that
You know, I almost made this my hot pick because I was really into this color combination of bronze ionic plating, something we rarely get to see very much of, and that rich, almost turquoise color. I don't want to call it like a royal blue. It really has a turquoise to it. I'm going to go right to the wrist with this 40 millimeter. What's great is Invicta is all about getting everyone into pretty much any size Invicta they want. That's why even some of their craziest 50-plus millimeter watches fit down to a 6-inch wrist. And that's why even a 40 millimeter like this has enough bracelet length to accommodate over a 9-inch wrist. So if you like something, chances are you don't really have to be worried about not getting into it. Here, as Wiley was describing earlier, you've got that awesome racing-inspired look. Of course, it is the Speedway collection, so everything about this is going to have that hot rod flair to it. Now, looking a little bit closer into the dial, you'll notice that you've got that turquoise sun ray. So watch when the light hits the dial, the way the bands of light almost dance across it. It's really beautiful, and these are just under studio lights. So imagine what this would look like outside.
In sunlight? I have never seen this color combination, and this is probably one of the most unique looking watches. And this is only $80? Or even under $80?
Yeah, and look, you can even see this from across the room. So this would be fun. Maybe you're wearing all black, you've got a black or a white top on, and you just add a little bit of color on the wrist like that. How cool is this? It's also a
I was just moving out from behind the graphic.
It's also a 200-meter dive watch. So it's not a technical professional dive watch, because that would mean it would have to have a unidirectional bezel. But it's got 200 meters of water resistance. So what we call that is a dive-capable watch. So you can still wear this swimming and scuba diving all you would like.
It's the perfect vacation watch.
It is a true quintessential vacation watch because it's all stainless steel, so it's got that durability. Plus, I happen to think that sometimes, or most times, when a watch is on a bracelet, it can be versatile enough to be slightly dressed up or dressed down. You know, you could wear this very easily on vacation. $80. Every day on our website, this Invicta is $160. And I encourage you to check out WorldofWatches.com. We have an entire microsite, if you will, devoted to Invicta, because we at World of Watches are the largest authorized Invicta retailer. So we always guarantee the lowest price and the stress-free payments. 206-314.
Well, I'm going to let you keep that watch, and I'm going to keep this one. We'll just each part company right now, because you'll take that and I'm going to take...
Oh, that sounds fair.
You and I both love the Hublot brand of watches because they have truly mastered the craftsmanship of 21st century design and taking it to a luxury pinnacle level. And sometimes, you know, when you think of luxury, you're going to think of gold, you're going to think of maybe precious metals, you're going to think of the classic, maybe very sulphurous filigree work and a lot of design work. We see those beautiful watches. I mean, some evolution Piccards are mimicking some of those styles. Here, by using ceramic and titanium and using the multi-layers to create the case, and then to take that beautiful case and it to be so durable it can handle 300 meters of water resistance. Folks, the Hublot Big Bang King Black Magic is more than a mouthful to say. It is a beautiful sight to behold because of the craftsmanship. And I'm wondering if television actually does this justice. Now, if you're one of those people, here's what I feel confident of. If anybody has been in one of the jewelry stores and held this watch and then realizes what we've got going on right over here with our price point, they're going to buy the watch. As they come in even closer to look at that beautiful dial, realize this is a 44 millimeter case, and the HUB 1400 automatic movement on the inside of the watch is a 23 jewel automatic. Of course, that is sapphire crystal protecting that dial. You have a reverse date window right there. That's a black wheel with white lettering, freehand configuration, and I love the stylized hands on the watch. There is just such a look on this watch that is unlike any other. Now, within that 23 jewel automatic is 42 hours of power reserve. You've heard us say this before. Hublot watches first came into existence in 1980, and when they first introduced their natural rubber strap to the watch world, not much reception. Not much love for the strap. They took 3 years to develop it, and at the Basel Watch Fair, they were a little concerned because the first, few hours and even days, people were just like, why would you put rubber on a luxury watch? Then they realized the comfort, the design, and now you see it across the board of how many times they have used a rubber strap on luxury watches. Who started that? Well, that would be Hublot. And here they are with this incredible timepiece that if you go to a Hublot retail store or a high-end jewelry store and you were to take a look at the watch, you're going to find it, are you ready for this, $17,000. No, that's not a misprint. That is the retail price. And people ask Megan and I all the time, who pays that for a watch? Collectors. I mean, do you ever watch any like the home design shows?
Of course.
I watch, I go, oh, I'd like to maybe get a pool. Then I go, oh, this beautiful pool is $800,000. I'm like, we watch those shows because they're fun. And there's certainly people who spend it.
Absolutely. Good for
There was a
them.
man who had a solid gold bathroom.
Wow.
Yeah, it was stupidly expensive, as you can imagine. 600 square feet of gold within the bathroom.
Sounds like someone's overcompensating.
Well, they didn't show that much of the show. But I do want you to know that there are folks who easily drop this money, $17,000 for the watch. Now, not everybody can do that. In fact, most folks can't. But our buyers have the ability to get these watches at prices that no one can touch. So here's a $17,000 watch at $8,699. That's a lot of money. How can we make it better for you? Let's put it on the maximum amount of payments we can do by law, because anything else beyond that, we would be a lending institution, and we are not set up for that. So here it is, 6 stress-free, interest-free payments of $1,450. Try going to your bank and telling them you want a $9,000 loan, you don't want to fill out paperwork, and you do not want to pay any interest. The response, they bounce you out of the bank. I don't know how many times they've bounced me out of the bank, but not here. Swiss Watch, you give a call to 877-969-8818. You put the $1,450 on a credit card, and the very next business day, we send out the watch. And then over the next 5 months, the additional payments come in, and you're done. Folks, 278496 will get you the Hublot Big Bang King Black Magic at the lowest price on planet Earth. Now, if you want to time how long it takes for that package to get there, then maybe you want to time it with the world's most accurate chronograph and the world's most accurate quartz movement. Megan and I both absolutely love the Precisionist. And here it is, the 46mm Precisionist chronograph is just one of those watches you will not hesitate to wear every day. Is it a heavy watch?
Oh, yes,
it is. I think Bulova has invested their money, not just in movement, but in bracelet. I cannot begin to reiterate to you the Bulova watches that have thoroughly impressed me. Look at the thickness of that solid link bracelet. This is jewelry. It has the feel and look and the weight of solid gold. It's not. It's gold plating. But you don't have to tell anybody that, because they're going to believe you're wearing a solid gold watch. The watch is 16 millimeters thick. It's 263 grams of solid stainless steel and gold plating and movement. What about the movement? Draw in close, listen carefully, because I'm going to try to go fast because we're going to be running into our third hour soon. All timekeepers tell time by the movement of something. If you have a grandfather clock at home, it's going to be the swinging of that pendulum that's going to be able to tell time. If you happen to have an automatic or a mechanical movement, which is running at 3 to 6 kilohertz, it has a spring that's wound on the inside, either by the rotation of that crown or by the rotation of that rotor. And that spring being wound is going to cause the balance wheel to move, and that motion is going to be able to tell time. Once they figured out that quartz has a piezoelectric quality to it, that means when electricity is applied to it, it vibrates. That vibration can be measured. That measurement is going to be a measurement of time, and it's going to give you a second. If the traditional quartz movements from the 1970s all the way to 2015 happen to be running at 32 kilohertz, and that's going to be accurate to within 10 to 15 seconds per month. Well, that's fantastic when you consider that an automatic or a an automatic or a mechanical movement is accurate to within 10 to 15 seconds per day. Well, by putting a 3-prong tuning fork made of quartz in this watch, it now runs at 262 kilohertz using the piezoelectric quality of quartz. and it's accurate to within 10 seconds per year. Now, with this quick demonstration of the watch, I want you to see that as I hit this pusher right here at this 8 o'clock position, it's going to cause the sweep hand to move into the 12 o'clock position, ready to be used for the chronograph. You'll notice that the subdial at the 12 o'clock position right here happens to have two hands, one red, one white. When I hit the pusher at the 2 o'clock, it's going to cause them to move at lightning speed. Now, we're measuring the seconds, the tenths of a second, the hundredths of a second, and the retrograde subdial at the 6 o'clock position is prepared to give us the measurement into 1/1000th of a second. And that's going to be when I hit this pusher right here to stop it. Watch the movement at the 6 o'clock position. We now have the seconds, the tenths of seconds, the hundredths of a seconds, the 1/1000th of a second. If we had continued, it would give us the minutes and the hours. No timepiece on the planet gives you this level of accuracy or this level of style. Now, go back just for a second. Don't leave me, because I need you to see that if you're going to hold on, let's reset it. Now, everything is going to go back to its original configuration. Now, if you want this to go back to keeping track of the seconds down to 10 seconds per year, all you have to do is hit this pusher, and that sweep hand is going to catch up to where it needs to go, because it was keeping track internally of the seconds. It's swinging around, and there it is. It's picked back up down to exactly where it needs to be. You'll also notice there is a date complication between the 4 and 5 o'clock position, and it really looks great. Now, what you were seeing was the gold tone variation of that watch, but maybe you don't want something that flashy, and maybe you want something a bit more traditional and a bit more sporty. How about the 46mm Precisionist in all mirror and satin polished stainless steel? Because this version looks really, really good. Now, hold that shot right there. I'm going to move this guy back into frame so you can see him. Now, you have to choose. Which one would you pick? Would you choose the silver variation, or would you choose the gold tone variation? Meg, which one do you like better?
Gold tone.
Oh, knew it.
I love, love, love the rose.
You love some gold.
But I know more people are going to go for the silver tone.
Do you think so?
Well, I think so because it's more versatile, and I don't see as often, you don't see as many men, or maybe I just don't, wearing a full rose watch like you would a full silver tone watch.
I think you're right, but there's also...
I'm right.
Some people aren't going to use this just for the beauty and the aesthetics. I mean, might I remind folks that you have a unirotating bezel and 200 meters of water resistance? This, to me, is the perfect dive watch, and this is the perfect dress watch with all sorts of capabilities. Mm-hmm. You know, this is the serious instrument right here for the diver, but if you needed to wear that to work or you needed to dress it up a bit, okay, this is for those folks who need that extra pop out of it. And this is for your everyday guy who maybe is going to use it as a professional dive instrument, and they could dress it up if they really wanted to.
Absolutely.
$399 for this variation. 210267 will get you the Bulova 46mm Precisionist.
All right, with a couple minutes left in our second hour, where to go to next?
All right, folks, we happen to have one more watch that's been handed us. Maybe you want to take a peek at it. Do you
I don't know. I think we might be starting our third hour now.
What? Already?
Oh, we're not even quite sure where we're going. We're actually getting everything sorted out right now. This is the beauty of live television, folks. We're not really sure where we're going
Houston, we have a problem. No, we actually have to understand that off to the side from the vault are hundreds of watches waiting. And as you're purchasing, here's the secret, since we're broadcasting live, I'm not supposed to tell you this stuff. As you are selecting stuff, we're also selecting stuff too, hopefully meeting up to what you want. Because we have picked a whole bunch of stuff you don't want to see. So if we pick the right stuff, hopefully you will find the right watch. So what's coming up next? We'll
I
take
think
a peek.
we're ready for it.
Oh, really?
The 47mm Scubador. This watch always makes me think of you because I remember one of our first shows, 49mm, wow. One of the first shows we ever hosted together, you really liked this watch, and we had just gotten the Scubador on bracelet debuted on our programs.
Do you know that I have been on this program for 9 months with you?
Really?
Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. It's hard to believe how time flies, literally. And this This watch has really held its own because, there's been watches that we've shown months and months ago. They've kind of run their course. We're now heading into different styles, colors, configurations. But the Scubador, somehow, it was that magic combination of style, design, and purpose that this watch still is popular. It still has created a following. And part of the uniqueness of the watch was when they wanted to create the crown protector, they created a protector also over the pushers. You notice these would normally be found over the crown. Well, they've created an arch that becomes a natural crown protector, and now the pushers are also protected. You also have this beveled bezel on the watch that if you look at it straight on, it looks like it's completely round, and in the right light, you see all of the beveling that is done on it. And as you rotate it, it can take on a completely different look depending on where you rotate that unirotating bezel. Now within the watch, you have a 3-hand configuration, the hour, the minute, continuously operating sweep hand. At the 6 o'clock is a small second, 2 additional sub-dials for our chronograph, and simply hitting the pushers at the 2 o'clock is going to start our chronograph. And there is our stop. And of course, lifting that protector, we can do the reset right there. And it's going to swing around and everything snaps back into place. Now, I happen to love the watch. I think it really has just a great look and style to it. It doesn't look like anybody else's. It's such an original design. And again, at 49 millimeters, I would have told you the watch is going to be too large for my wrist back, 9 months ago. I would have told you that. I have learned so much about the right watch design can make even the largest of watches look comfortable on the wrist and feel equally as so.
I absolutely love the Scubador. We've had this watch on our programs for a number of years now. And it's funny because right when I started over 3 years ago, we were about to sell out of our entire inventory of this Scubador Classic, is what we call it, on the leather strap. And we were sold out for 2 years. And that sort of describes, kind of what happens here at times when we have so many different collections or when items sell out. We don't know when we're going to get more of them available. And that's why I always encourage people to take a look at the Scubador, because in my opinion, it is one of the best looking classic collections from Swiss Legend. And what's cool is, as we've seen with a lot of the new Swiss-made Swiss Legends that have been coming out recently, we're almost sort of going back to this very stylized but still luxurious, that almost sport luxury sort of design. And that's what I think the Scubador Sport always has had. It's different. Doesn't look like every other watch that you probably own, but it's not so wild and crazy that if you are a conservative dresser or you do have to dress up every day for work, you wouldn't be able to wear it. And that's what I like so much, or being able to find items that are a little bit different, that have some of that personality, but yet they're still sophisticated enough that you can wear them out to a nice dinner or even with a suit.
And there's so much style even within that dial of the watch. It has a look as if you're looking into the back of a watch, because there is Côte de Genève that is on the dial. There's an homage to a rotor that's at the bottom part of the dial. It really is beautiful. And look at the price point right now. Only $22.50 gets the watch home. $89.99. 84845. That's how you know that short number.
I told you that, yeah. All right, well now we do know where we're going. We are starting our third and final hour. 1 hour to go, ladies and gentlemen. You have until midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight to place your order so you get the Wowtv price and the stress-free payments. And we're seeing great payments, 4, 5, and 6 across the board. Now, keep in mind, 6 is not just some arbitrary number, because Swiss Watch International, the company that we work for, is not a financial lending institution. Legally, as a company, the maximum amount of interest-free monthly payments we can offer is 6. So that's why you'll notice while some do have 4, there's a lot of 5 and 6s. So we're really trying to max it out as much as possible to get you shopping for the holidays or shopping for yourself. Remember, you got to treat yourself to a little something this holiday season.
We won't tell.
All the time,
we won't
like
tell.
I have trouble
You are
doing.
continuous.
Let's jump into a preview of what's coming up in our third and final hour.
Absolutely beautiful. It is my top pick, and it so far has been a fantastic seller because people have realized the value and the beauty of this watch. Our mad watchmakers have really done it again. They have put heart and soul into designing a watch that truly has so much class and style and sophistication to it, but at a price point that almost anybody can get a hold of. It's a 44 millimeter case. And it's going to be, certainly, mineral crystal protecting that dial, 316L stainless steel. The Japanese PTS movement inside is reliable and accurate. No apologies about that movement. 50 meters of water resistance, 13 millimeters thick, and that crescent moon-shaped cutaway allows you to see into the beating heart, see the escapement, and a few other goodies inside of there that just make you realize you are holding old-world craftsmanship. $144.99. Only $29 gets it home. Congratulations to all of you who are picking it up. I know you're getting a beautiful timepiece, and we guarantee it, because if you don't like it, we'll take it back.
Coming up right after that, the 46mm Legacy Chronograph from Swiss Legend, a Swiss-made watch. This features one of the brand new movements from ISA, the movement manufacturer. ISA actually spent 5 years in development with this movement. Swiss Legend was one of the first companies to get it. When you see this watch close up, you'll notice it has almost a 3D dial because the Arabic numerals almost appear to be pressed up underneath that Sapphire crystal. It's a really interesting design that they used. This great color combination too, just a few pops of red, everything else black and silver. 5 payments of $45 for a Swiss-made watch, $289,541. Coming up right behind that, you've got a brand new Ingersoll watch we've never even aired before, $289,564. $190 for an automatic multi-function, and they are all limited editions. That's right, every single watch from Ingersoll is a limited edition. So you never have to worry about getting something that thousands and thousands of other people in the world have. You get something that's very custom. Here, you've got a cushion-shaped case in a larger case design, but I can't wait to see this on the wrist. 5 payments of $38, $289,564. Quick mention of my hot pick, a 42mm from Nixon, also a 200-meter diver, and one of the best-selling watches as we saw last hour. $100 for a $375 Nixon watch. Nixon is sold at department stores all around the country. They are expensive. They are sporty cool. But with us, you never have to pay those retail prices. It'll come brand new to you in the box for $25 down. $271,455. All right, so earlier in the show, and yesterday, in case you missed yesterday's show, we did a little video, well, our crew did, because they're amazing, from a meeting that we had with our company about 2 weeks ago, headed up by Niso Barocas, the creative director for Swiss Watch International. And he actually showed some of us who were very, very fortunate to be in this meeting, all of our company-owned brands and all of the different collections that are coming out right now. And as you'll hear him say, it's a pretty staggering number of collections that our company is bringing out. It's not just like, 10 or 20. Wait until you see what he has to say about the 200 plus collections coming out from Swiss Watch International. Take a look at this.
Every brand, as you can see now on the table, will be recognizable with its own DNA, with its own characteristic. Usually companies, other watch companies, develop maybe 5 or 6 collections per year. We develop close to 200 collections.
Of what we got to see behind the scenes. Hopefully more videos will be coming soon. But we're going to present right now one of those Swiss-made Swiss Legends, which I don't know if it was in that video there, but Niso Barocas was saying that Swiss Legend, as we are going to be full Swiss-made in just a matter of months from now, the real DNA heritage that he wants in the Swiss Legend brand is what he calls sport luxury. The kind of watch that we kind of joke about, oh, you could wear it from the beach to the boardroom. The Legacy collection, you truly could wear it from the scuba diving trip to a black tie function. You can wear this watch to anything, and it is a 200-meter diver in a Swiss-made watch. So we've got 2 variations to show you here. I don't know which one we're going with first.
Oh, we're going with the bit more omniscient look. And I like this. I really like, now I like the second variation better. This is a more sporty variation. The ISA 8371 movement in here is, as you were talking about, that's brand new movement.
Yeah, it took ISA 5 years of development to make that ISA 8371. And Swiss Legend is one of the first. Ladies and gentlemen, you will be one of the first people in the world to be wearing a watch with the new ISA movement inside. That is so cool.
I think that, you know, being able to have that kind of access to something that, you know, very few people are going to have this yet. Because, you know, we're one of the first companies that are going to be seeing these movements, and it just, there's certain things you want to do inside of a movement. You want to reduce friction. You want to create the highest level of accuracy, and that's not done overnight. Because remember, it's all about moving parts, and then it's about having to manufacture those parts in such a capacity that it meets the high standard of the ISA corporation. You have to be able to meet that standard. Well, here they are with 5 years of development to come up with a movement that just takes that level of accuracy, dependability, reliability. I mean, you're getting the best that's out there. This is a 21st century design watch, and you think about some of those watch movements were not even designed in the 21st century. I mean, you're going with stuff that's been around for forever.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that's a bad thing. It's tried and true. But the watchmaker's craft, as technology increases, it allows for even more precision in the cutting and manufacturing of those gears and all of the tiny parts. Remember one of the Breitlings that we have on yesterday's show had 450 parts. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of design work. Well, here, in this all-Swiss-made watch, you're not looking at thousands of dollars, but just a few hundred for a $1,000 watch. Now, what did you like best about the new design?
Keeping it just like that, what I really like is notice how multi-leveled the dial is. You can see how all of these are applied. You can see how the stick hour markers almost seem to be on the bottom portion. Then it's almost like a raised outer ring, like a stadium style in the dial, where notice that the Arabic numerals almost appear to be pressed right up against that Safetec crystal. So it gives it a very cool deep dish sort of look.
Isn't that hard to believe that there is actually space between that 12, that 6, that 9, and that 3 and the crystal? It's just a hair's breadth in there, not, you know, just literally a hair's width. But it's part of the design and the mastery and the craftsmanship within the watch. So, you know, I want to show you this one on the wrist, and then you've got to see a completely different variation, because I feel like I'm doing two separate presentations, because one is for this very sporty legacy chronograph, and let's just take a peek at this one on the wrist, and then I want to show you another variety that dresses it up without having to use gold. Because often when we think of dressing a watch up, what do we think of? We think of gold, whether it's rose gold or flashes of gold on there. Now, see the high mirror polish that's on there as the light reflects off of the table? Now, this is a classic sporty variation, no two ways about it. That black bezel, and this is where the watch looks a little larger than 46. It almost looks like a 48, 49 millimeter because the dial blends right in with the bezel. But it's not. I mean, this is truly, it's a 46 millimeter. It wears a little larger, but it's very comfortable. Notice there's a generous amount of that strap, that bracelet. Now, I want you to see this is a very, very sporty variation of the watch. But what if you wanted to dress it up a touch, but still have all the functionality and still the same sportiness? Well, in my opinion, it's going to be this version of the watch. I tend to like the black dialed watches the best. Just drawn to that's one of the most popular ones. But there are certain watches that the white dial just is the winner. It's just the clear winner. And in my opinion, this watch, it's the versatility. The black is very sporty. It just has a feel to it. This looks a little dressier to me. Can you see the light hitting that high silver that's in there? And I hope that you're capturing that, because there is just a look within this. That's great. They're coming even closer. You're going to be able to see into that dial and realize there's just something very clean and crisp about this. Now, can you see the stippling or the texturing that's in the center of the dial and the flat finish that is within the subdials? And just as Megan talked about, the outer chapter ring happens to be in a stadium style. You have the Arabic numerals, the 12, 3, 6, and 9 that are raised on platforms, and then you have the the indices for the hours that are in stick marker. And all of that has them. Do we have loom on this, perchance? Is this too new? Oh, it's too new. We hope to get loom shot on this. You know what? I'm going to ask every week. So this is going to look great. Don't you know that that's just going to pop with the Arabic numerals and those indices? This is going to be one of the easiest watches to read with that loom on there. I mean, Megan, you have to make a choice. You've been silent this whole time.
It's a rare thing for me.
Well, I think, which one do you like better?
You like the silver tone.
How did you know?
Because I know that's the way you always go. I like the black.
All right. Well, Megan's choice is the black version of the watch. I like the silver tone. You can't go wrong, and if you feel like you did, send it back. Money back guarantee, free shipping here, free shipping there. We want to take care of you. Shop with confidence. Only $224.99 for an all Swiss made watch. You're going to love it. Brand new design.
226299. Yesterday we aired a 42mm calibrator automatic from Accutron by Bulova. This is that timepiece that comes with that key attachment where you can actually make those micro adjustments. If you look in the video shot here, notice at the 9 o'clock position how there's a crown and then that little almost half of a subdial with a little lever in there. You can see that the watch is perfectly calibrated. But in the instance that maybe it goes slightly over or under, this timepiece includes a little key that you can make those external adjustments yourself.
Do we have the key? Do we have the key? I'm just wondering if the keys. I mean, that's my first. I want to adjust it. That's just, you know, I'm a guy.
Well, this is pretty much, it's perfect right now.
I know, but it's just such a cool feature because usually, you know, if you have an automatic movement, there is, if you notice, if you take a jeweler's loop or if you have really good eyeballs or you have like number 6 reading glasses, you'll learn about that later, Megan, and then you will find that you can look deep into the watch, into that automatic movement. And there's usually somewhere hiding within your automatic watch, if it's high end, you will be able to see where a jeweler can make adjustments should a watch run too fast or too slow. This watch allows you that should the movement need any sort of adjustment, there is a special key that is given with the Accutron by Bulova watch that you can make the micro adjustment yourself without having to see a jeweler. Now don't worry, you're not going to break it. It's just a slight variation to put it back in the right vibration and harmonic so that it's going to run flawlessly for you. Now, when a watch runs really, really well, I have to brag on Maurice Lacroix, a watch that I bought, has been only worn twice. It's been on a watch winder the entire time. It's been months now, maybe over a month, and the watch has not lost a minute.
That's so incredible.
Well, it just speaks of the calibration of that watch.
But that's a $1,000 upon $1,000 upon $1,000 watch.
Yes.
Here, it's a $1,700 watch, still very expensive, but imagine you'll get that same great accuracy with a Swiss-made automatic movement inside this one.
And if it begins to change,
you can fix it.
You can fix it without having to see a
yeah.
jeweler. I
love
love
it
that.
up. We're so in sync.
I know. We should do swing dancing. I'm coming to hot yoga with you. The Accutron by Bulova 42mm watch is really just, I think it's a marvel because you can make the adjustments and it's a beautiful configuration. I mean, do you remember the Chrono Fighter?
Yes, of course.
By Graham. Look at these hands. Do those not look
very similar?
I think you're seeing some style pull.
It's almost like a sword style hand.
Oh, beautiful. The other one is more of like Big Ben, you know, the tower in London. Here you're seeing that sword style. And again, you're looking at a beautiful configuration of this watch. 3-hand, hour-minute, continuously operating sweep hand. And, of course, there's your date complication at the 3 o'clock position. And if I didn't flash this to you, just take a peek one more time at that beautiful automatic movement right there. See the Côte de Genève, the Geneva waves that's on that rotor, and the Accutron symbol. And this is also a great shot of the dual push button, dual scissor deployant on here, which makes it very easy to put off and on. You have a friend that happens to have a larger hand, and we were kind of concerned because it may have a single scissor deployant, and we were having to ask the watchmakers, is there a dual deployant? Is there something that makes it easier for him to put the watch off and on?
This is a great one.
Well, this is, I mean, look at that opening. I mean, you can put your foot in there. Not that I suggest, but you could easily put this watch off and on, and you're going to marvel at looking into that beautiful 25 joule automatic. sapphire crystal, both front and back, and of course it's all Swiss made. If you want to pay $1,700, God bless you, go right ahead, but we don't want you to do that. Only $1,000 is the wow price at midnight on Sunday. But for the show, there is a collection of the watches for $499.99. That is not, we're not making that stuff up. That is correct. Go ahead and try to find it anywhere else. And then if you can find it at that price, see if they'll let you do it on 5 stress-free, interest-free payments. Only $100 gets it home. 226299, Accutron by Bulova.
Moving on now to a brand that we've been airing for a couple of months now. The Coronado automatic from Ingersoll. We know how much everyone out there seems to love these Ingersoll watches, and it's exciting because as we get new collections in on our website, we can take this watch, which is $270 on our website, down from $500, put it on the show at $190 and say you can still pay that off over 5 months. I love that our stress-free payment plan is not a layaway plan. We will ship you your watches after you make your first payment.
This is absolutely beautiful. The 21 jewel automatic within this watch is going to be a great timekeeper, but also give you the multifunction. Notice you have a day complication, a date complication. You have an AM, PM indicator. All of this operated by the crown and pushers on the watch. Now, as you look into it, the limited edition Coronado is one of those watches that it's going to wear a little larger than its size because you will notice that it is a kind of a cushion style case. And even though you have that round dial, you still have some stylization in the case that makes it wear a little bit larger. So it's going to measure about 42 by 49 millimeters. It's an all stainless steel case, and you'll notice that there is even engraving on the side with the Ingersoll name. Look at that high mirror polish. And because it is all stainless steel, should that get damaged over time, all you have to do is have that repolished again. Let me show you the back of the watch. One of the things that you and I both have commented about, and we really love, is that Ingersoll uses a tinted crystal on the back.
Yep.
It's just a pop of color. It's a uniqueness that's not done by almost anybody else out there, at least nobody I know. And as you look into that watch, you're looking at, you know, the 316L stainless steel, the 50 meters of water resistance. Once again, they're letting you know it's limited edition. And right there on the rotor, 21 jewel automatic. Look at all of that decorating. When you see that decoration on the watch, realize that's all hand done. This is a gorgeous timepiece, and Ingersoll has just become quite a collectible. And it's easy to collect because look at the price point. $38 gets it home. The Japanese 617A multifunction automatic is a 21 jewel automatic. And here's a watch with so much heritage to it. American heritage, Chinese owned company. You happen to have German design, a British distributor. You have so many things within the watch. It gives it just an international feel. And that's so much, you know, what built America was, you know, just folks from around the world. Well, here we are with a watch that represents that heritage and has been around since 1892. What do you think?
I always like these Ingersoll watches, and what's funny is every show we have some different ones, and it's crazy because they are all so different. I never look at a watch and say, oh, I know that's an Ingersoll. They're always so different, every single one.
You have some that are in that classic old world style. You have some that are so sporty.
Yeah, yesterday we had a really sporty one on the show.
And remember the white one that was the bison that was just very modern, yet it felt like it came right out of Texas.
It's so cool. I mean, every single one is so different.
And here is this watch with, how would you describe this style? It's a bit of old world, a little classic, a little vintage feel.
I think that it is a classic because of the cushion-shaped case. I also like that it's kind of got that fun vintage flair to it. And I love, 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 love the animated AM, PM indicator. If you look at the 6 o'clock position, see the sun, AM. I just like that animated AM, PM look. 289564, and away we go from the Ingersoll Coronado. Wiley and I are going to show you two variations of the Raymond Weil watch that I've got in my hands right here. We're going to start with the 41 millimeter on bracelet. 271902. A 41 millimeter Maestro. Raymond Weil created the Maestro collection, which means master. to symbolize their heritage in timekeeping and Swiss-made luxury. This is one of their most esteemed collections at $2,800. Looking into your dial, you've got a 2-eye automatic chronograph. Watch when I start the chronograph, my chrono hand here begins to move. I'm going to stop and watch that chrono hand reset. It's a flyback chrono complication. Instead of going all the way around the dial, it snaps right back into place. And you do have a 30-minute short time totalizer for your chronograph. This is a modified Sellita automatic movement from Sellita. This is the caliber RW7230. What that means is Raymond Weil will purchase a movement in and then bring it in-house and modify it. So in this case, they've added additional jewels and further complications, where you can see written right on that rotor, a 50-jewel Swiss-made movement.
Now, if you're unfamiliar, when you talk about jewels within a watch, understand that it would not be practical to put any sort of lubricant inside the watch to reduce friction. Now, there are a handful of watches that do actually use a liquid inside the watch. But most of the time, they're going to use either sapphire or ruby, and those pieces are placed between the parts that might wear, and they act as friction reducers. Understand that there are 50 individual either sapphires or rubies or jewels within this watch to reduce the friction and give you a higher level of accuracy within the watch.
Here's how the bracelet style fits on my wrist. I have to say, the bracelet itself, of course you would expect this from a near $3,000 watch, but notice this. Look at the multiple rows on a multi-link bracelet. This isn't a bracelet, and we have some of those from some of our own brands, where it's one piece and they almost etch into the stainless steel what it looks like to have multi-links. This is a true multi-link bracelet. It almost feels like snake skin. It's so flexible and so pliable. Here again is the all bracelet variation. It's on 6 payments of $167,271,902 for the Maestro on bracelet. But maybe you don't want the bracelet. Maybe you want something that I think looks even dressier. I happen to think the variation on Wiley's wrist is even dressier than the bracelet.
You know, some people really want a leather strap on their watch, and some people insist on a bracelet. I think the fact that Raymond Weil has covered both bases here, exact same watch head, but 2 completely different ways of presenting it. And they look like completely different watches. So you have to kind of make a decision here, and I think both of them are stunning. The genuine leather strap that's on here with that Croco embossed print really looks great. Now you notice there's a generous amount of that. It can be strapped down even smaller if you have a smaller wrist than I do, which is 6 3/4 inches, but there's still a reasonable amount of strap there if you have a much larger wrist. It makes such a great presentation, and that 50 jewel automatic, you know, is going to be reliable and accurate, and how could it not? You know, the Raymond Weil 7230, all Swiss made movement and all Swiss made watch, sapphire crystal both front and back, is a stunning timepiece. And whether you choose the all stainless steel bracelet or the leather strap, you're getting quality. And both are going to last for years and years to come. Do you have a preference, Megan, on between the two?
I like the bracelet because I think it has a little bit more to it, but if you're looking for something that's even more elegant, surprisingly, I would say that the leather strap version.
I think there is something about, now realize you take care of the leather strap, it's going to last for years and years and years. But there's something about anything that is finite that we seem to appreciate, whether it's flowers that are given, or something that's just as a sandcastle, something that's just designed to be there for the moment. And the leather is a bit more finite. The stainless steel obviously is going to give you a much longer lifespan, but if this is taken care of, it's going to last for years and years and years. And it's just, I don't know, you're right, there is an elegance to that leather strap. Folks, 271903 is going to get you the Raymond Weil 41mm Maestro automatic chronograph, and you're not paying the $2,800, but only $799. You're getting $2,000 off the price. Only $160 gets it home. What a great value. Now, I need you to change gears because you're seeing luxury upon luxury upon luxury. Well, how about some tough luxury? How about something that's going to really just You know, this is that watch that if you had to cross the Serengeti, or you had to go to the Himalayas, which that's my goal, I want to go to the Himalayas.
I know, you were saying.
Then this is one of the watches to do that.
Now, we actually have 3 variations of this watch.
I don't mean to alarm you. That sound you're hearing, ladies and gentlemen, is the Atacama Field. It's the 45mm Luminox watch. Now, I'm hoping that they're going to be able to pull up our Lume shots, because what you've got is a watch that is made for luminescence. But let me show it to you in daylight before we show it to you at night. You're getting a beautiful, and this is all in stainless steel. The black IP plating over stainless steel is a fantastic watch. This is one of my favorites. And if I had to choose between the 3 we're going to show you in the next few minutes, man, I don't know if I can make the choice. Now, as you look at the back of the watch, you're going to see an echo chamber right there. You can see it. It's kind of perforated. And if you're worried that it's not going to be able to be heard on the wrist, well, it's designed to be heard. And as you are able to set it and turning it off and on right here, and there you go again, that is going to allow you to, I mean, I can hear it. That would wake me up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure about you, but this would wake me up. What you have is not just the look of carbon fiber, but a carbon fiber dial on this watch. You also have the 3-hand configuration of the hour, the minute, and the continuously operating sweep hand at the 2 o'clock position is a small seconds, 2 additional sub-dials operated by the pushers, as well as an alarm configuration. You also have an all-Swiss-made watch, so you know the quality and construction is certainly there. You'll notice that at all the hour indices and on the hands, there are little tiny white dashes. Those are actually tubes filled with an inert gas called tritium. And by the decay of the gas on the inside, they constantly give off light. And that light is going to be on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no charging it up to a light source. It always glows. So should the lights go out, should you have a power outage, step outside on a dark night or into a theater, this is what you're going to see staring back at you. Doesn't that look great?
Yeah.
Now, that is the all stainless steel version. Which one would you like for us to show next? Because we have 2 other varieties. Which one, Megan? Which one do you like?
We've got 2 varieties to show you, and what's funny is the first variety is my personal favorite. Coming up now, we move on to 2 leather versions of the Atacama Field. So last call here for the bracelet, 236769. And then this one, I happen to just love. I think that this color combination with the rich, very, very saturated blue, almost a Mediterranean blue for the dial color, done in a sun gray, pairs really well with this gray leather strap. Now here's that 45mm on my 6-inch wrist. No gapping, no spacing. It fits so well. You have the Swiss, excuse me, let me try that again. You have the Swiss Ronda 5030D chronograph movement inside the Swiss-made watch. Once we get a closer look inside that dial, you're able to see that rich and saturated color. Here, Swiss-made Ronda movement inside. So that will give you a 12-hour totalizer. Oh, needs to be recalibrated. So what you would do is actually pop the crown, and then using the pushers, you can slowly inch that hand all the way back around to the 12 o'clock position. Don't worry if your chrono ever seems a little bit off like that.
And sometimes when they're calibrated at the factory or tested, they may move that sweep hand manually, by exactly as Megan said, releasing the crown and using the pushers to move it second by second to whatever position they wish to choose. And that's easily reset. We can show you that in just a moment. But don't you love the fact that you've got
This is what I'm showing right here. I love the dual tang buckle closure and strap. And also, if we can come into that closer shot right here, check out the little roll bar on the buckle. What happens is, as I'm sure many of you know with your leather strap watches, the constant pulling of a buckle will cause your leather to wear out. Luminox has very smartly done this almost roll bar style, so that way when you pull it, it doesn't cause any tension. It simply allows the strap, it simply allows the strap to just roll right on through. Very, very clever design. I like this color variation because I love the look of this gray. It's not brown. I know that it says brown, but it really is more of a gray with I suppose maybe some brown in there, but to me I see a gray.
I agree with you.
Right?
I do. I mean, it's not a true brown because I'm wearing a tan version of this, and this is much more in the gray family, and I'm sure somewhere in the universe, that's a brown tone, but do not adjust your set.
236769 for my favorite variation, but the next one I know you love. I love that other one too, though. Both
you and I I want to put this strap, the light strap on that blue watch.
Oh, that would be nice.
We're going to do that when nobody's looking. Folks, this is the third variation, the Atacama Field Alarm Watch, and that's on my wrist, and it's still that loud. Now, I want you to take a look at what I call the Indiana Jones version. I just picture that Dr. Jones would have this watch. It really looks like an adventurer's watch. And this is a great color. Now, this is not true belting leather, but it's in the style of belting leather. And this is belting leather is kind of a natural finish where there's not a lot of processing done to it. And what you're seeing is a leather that over time is going to take on the patina of the oils of your skin, what it's come in contact with. I don't want to say it's going to stain, but it's going to take on a different weathered look. Mm-hmm. Did you realize how many things people pay extra money for the weathered look, like it's had a life before it got to you?
Do you remember how popular jeans used to be when you would buy them destroyed about 5-10 years ago?
You mean people aren't wearing those now?
I still wear them because they're so darn expensive.
Just checking, because I was about to go, uh-oh. You're getting that same Swiss Ronda movement in here. You're getting Swiss made, you're getting sapphire crystal, you're getting the, not just your great lume, but you're getting that tritite, the tritium that's going to be self-illuminating. And what were you going to say, Megan? Oh, and again,
just listening to you so eloquently present your adventure watch.
You were sleeping. I like all three versions. Mm-hmm. Megan, if you had to choose.
You know the one I tried on.
Okay, me too. I like the one you tried on too, but I like this one. And remember, Luminox is a price-protected brand. What does that mean? It means the manufacturer likes to keep prices as close to possible as retail so it maintains the value of the watch. There are brands like Rolex that forbid people to put things on sale. That's just the way it is. But here we're seeing this watch, as well as the two other varieties. We happen to have the buying power that we can do it for, right at dealer cost. That's amazing. Go ahead and look it up and see if I'm telling you the truth. You're going to want the watch, and if you do get it and change your mind, by all means, we're going to make sure that we pay for it to come to you and to come home to us if you had to. We hope you'll keep it. All right, let's shift gears one more time to a luxury timepiece.
121826, the 43mm Pontos from Maurice Lacroix. I like that Maurice Lacroix added a little bit of color, and this is a very, very big seller. And I like that because it's still a very classic timepiece. I believe this is all titanium.
That's correct. And what you're seeing is the ML112 automatic movement, which is a 25 joule automatic, which is a variation of a modified Valjoux 7750.
And for one moment, I know they are completely different brands, but can we just for a moment note the other Valjoux 7750 automatic chronograph movement that we saw in the Accutron by Bulova being less than half the price of this one? Now, I'm not comparing Accutron to Maurice Lacroix, two very different brands, but this is more on par with what we were talking about when you see watches with this movement caliber at these sort of prices. Even our discounted $1,200 price.
Well, let's also note that depending on whose hands that modification falls into, because like I said, with Maurice Lacroix, my Maurice Lacroix, love you, did not lose a single minute yet after a month. And it should technically have lost probably 4 minutes in that period of time, maybe 5. Not a minute. So their modification in the hands of their surgeons is absolutely incredible. Of course, it's cabinetiers, it's the watchmakers, it's the craftsmen and women that make these beautiful timepieces. Notice you're looking at a 3-hand configuration. The hour, the minute, continuously operating sweep hand is a small seconds at the 9 o'clock position, 2 additional subdials, and part of the modification of the Valjoux 7750 is going to be the date complication at the 6 o'clock position. You'll also notice what looks like a protector or crown protector are actually stylized pushers, and simply hitting that pusher is going to start our chronograph. You can see it go into motion, and there is our stop, and there is our reset right there. Flipping the watch over, you're going to be able to see the rotor that has that great Côte Genève or watchmaker's decoration, the Geneva waves on there. And it's also going to give you a bit more information that we saw earlier, like the ML112 designation for that movement, which is the modified Valjoux 7750, and also how many joules the watch has. If you look back into the very inner workings of the watch, you're going to see that beating heart and the perlage decoration, which is, again, hand done, and it adds to the value of watch. Megan, you're exactly right. That beautiful finish and almost satin-esque look of the watch is coming from the fact that it's all titanium, a very expensive metal. We know that watches like Jean Richard with their Aeroscope uses grade 5 titanium, very, very expensive. And here in this almost $4,000 watch, you're also seeing this beautiful titanium used as a luxury piece. And what do you see on it? A rubber strap. Thank you, Hublot. The Hublot that you saw earlier was $17,000.
And you said before that in your research you found that they really popularized a luxury watch on a rubber strap, which now we see a lot of.
Exactly, and here is another example of that. This 43mm automatic chronograph by Maurice Lacroix, part of the Pontos collection, absolutely gorgeous all the way around. There are other colors and styles of this watch. Some of them do not have the that pop of color on there. I happen to like it. It just makes it a little sportier. You can see it there in the subdials and on the hands. I think it looks great.
I happen to think it's nice because sometimes when we see super classic watches or these high-end Swiss-made watches, it seems to be, and with good reason, most of them, I don't want to say all, tend to err more in that very, very dressy category. This could be, as funny as it sounds, your everyday watch. Whether you dress up or dress down, you could wear this watch.
Oh, I don't hesitate for a moment to say that, because you might not want to wear a $4,000 watch every day, but dropping it down to the $1,000 price point does make it, well,
look at the stress-free payments. How many more people who spend $150 to $200 a month on watches can now buy a $4,000 watch?
Well, and if you think it's a little pricey, think about how much you're paying for your cell phone bill and some other things that just, are ethereal. They just poof, they're in the air and they're gone. Here is something that is an heirloom piece that you can pass down from generation to generation, and it might be equal to the cost of your cell phone bill. All right, folks, 121826, it's in Maurice Lacroix, 43mm automatic with that modified Valjoux 7750. It is gorgeous all the way down to its titanium case and sapphire crystals.
122693, the 45mm Cool Collection from TW Steel. Funny enough, this watch is big because even though it's 45mm, when you factor in the Canteen style crown protector, because it is a modified Russian style diver, 45mm is the smaller of the two sizes we carry in this watch collection on our website.
Okay, how do we do this? Because, here in Miami, you can find Ritmo Mundo and TW Steel. You can find them in kiosks in the mall, and they're still holding their price point. And even if they gave you 50% off, it would be $325. How are we doing that at $139? I mean, that's a rhetorical question. I mean, I know it's the power of our buyers and shoppers. But the fact that we can pass this on to you at this price point, go ahead and look it up. This is one of those where you're shopping with confidence once again. And if you want to look it up and see what's out there, you're going to be blown away. Now, I think the black IP plating on this case looks incredible because it has a very sinister look to the watch. I mean, it does. I mean, this is one of those, again, this is a watch that my son would want because it just does not look like anybody else's watch. And the pops of color that you're seeing, even though it's all blacked out, gives it just a readability, an ease of reading that maybe you would not get had they chosen a different color palette. There is the Canteen style crown protector, and that is easy to put off and on. And of course, there are your pushers that are going to start and stop your chronograph. There is your start, stop, and of course your reset. And you notice that even though you have the locking mechanism for the Canteen style protector, I can still push that, because even though you notice that even when that's in place, it allows it to pass straight through there. Very, very clever. Now, as we screw that back in place, I want you to take a peek at the back of the watch so that you can get just another look. Oh, where'd it go? It's okay. Thank you. The all stainless steel case, water resistant to 100 meters. And of course, you can see that they've done a great job with that screw down back to help protect the innards of that watch, because you may get a little bit more rambunctious out there than maybe Meg and I will. Well, you're pretty rambunctious.
Yeah, you won't get more rambunctious than me.
That's true.
Try.
Now, do you like this particular color combination?
I was just thinking, we have another color variation available on our website, or at least we used to, that had some red in it. I like
that's
that
right.
one too. But black and blue, I think, is a good color combination, particularly for gentlemen out there, because as we've talked about many times on the show, most men's dress shirts and even casual shirts, blue is that men's color. And so I like that it's all blacked out. And even with the charcoal numerals, there's still a little bit of contrast there inside the dial. So you can still see a little bit more detail and color.
I think it looks great, and they're using texturing to set things apart. You know, it's all blacked out, but if you notice right in the right light, look at the texturing of the outer part of the dial that leads into the sub-dials and their satin finish. Look at the chapter ring, because it may all look as one piece, but the light changes everything. And even at a distance in this all blacked out watch, you still have those pops of color, which make it easy to tell the time.
Aren't you surprised that the calfskin leather on here feels broken in the first time you put it on?
You know, we've talked about this. That there are some leathers that you know that they are tough and stiff and they're going to break in and have the right feel in time. And then there are others that are very soft glove leather. In fact, there was a Cartier that I had tried on the other day when no one was looking. It wasn't one in the safe. I just took somebody's watch. But it had a super soft strap on the watch. This is that combination of it feels like it's been my watch for a long time. And that's part of the TW Steel promise, is they want to give you a watch that feels like it was custom made for you in design and configuration. You're going to love the watch. Only $139, $650 retail. Wow price $260.
Fun fact about TW Steel, they're actually headquartered in the Netherlands.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I recently found that out. All right, 122693. Moving on. We've only got a few minutes left of the program. Why not go with a super crazy, complicated Citizen?
It's all yours, Megan.
48mm ProMaster.
I'm leaving.
Don't
Enjoy.
you go anywhere.
Nope, it's all you.
This does have the Citizen Echo Drive technology, so you will get almost what you can think of like a solar panel inside your dial there, which will help with preserving the quartz movement inside. And as we talked about before, to date, Citizen has actually prevented, with their Echo Drive technology, over 20 million batteries from being disposed of, because you might not know this or not, but it's really bad for our environment to be disposing of batteries. I also really like the color combination in this 48mm ProMaster, because I like the fact that you've got that gorgeous, almost sunray gunmetal dial.
You know, Megan, this is just one of those watches that has so much functionality to it. Now, you're going to notice the first thing about the watch that stands out is the fact that you have this piece right here.
That is actually the first thing I did notice.
It really is. Now, this watch, the ProMaster, has a depth meter in it, and that's what this is designed for. It's going to be able to tell water pressure. And you're going to appreciate that because the watch is so accurate that it is ISO compliant. The International Standards Organization has given it its stamp of approval. This is not just a watch saying, oh, we can do this. It meets the standard.
You know, the only other watch we've ever aired that had that functionality on it was an IWC. That was over $10,000.
Oh, yeah, I remember the watch. And I wanted the
Now
watch.
we've got it right here. Isn't that crazy?
You know, it has the measurement of depth, and it also has a maximum depth memory so that you can know, what your deepest dive has been.
Cool.
And that's also a safety feature in there as well. You know, you have a screw back crown on this, which is going to help add to the 200 meters of water resistance in that watch. The Echo Drive B740 is exactly what you said. In 80% of Citizen watches, they have the Echo Drive, which means that the watch allows light to penetrate that dial and it powers a titanium lithium-ion battery, which means you will never, ever, ever, never, ever have to change the battery. It's a 48mm case, and the anti-reflective mineral crystal on there is, you notice that you have a hard time capturing any light. Look at that. I mean, even with sapphires, sometimes you do not get that level. Think of the studio lights that are in here, and it's hard to get a flash off of this watch. Look at that. There is such depth as you look into that. That's kind of, appropriate with a watch that has a depth finder. Now, let's go and take a peek at the back just so you get a good idea of what you're getting. The Citizen watch company has certainly done a great job with this, and you'll notice it says do not open. It has to be sent to a service center. Why? Because there's nothing you need to do to this watch. You do not need to fiddle in there because it is a very accurate ISO compliant instrument, and that means you don't have to open it up and put a battery because that titanium lithium ion power cell is going to never ever ever need changing, because unless the sun goes out, you're always going to have a power source for the watch, and if it does, you've got about 8 minutes to live. It's true.
This looks cool.
I think it looks great, and you know what, even though this is a serious dive instrument, I would wear this every day.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
Here's the deal. You go look it up online and you're going to find the $695 price point. Why? Because it's a serious dive instrument and they charge an arm and a leg for these things. The $486 price that we keep at Wow has certainly saved people money, but look at what we've done for the show price. We've gone ahead and chipped away another $70. $417. Megan, every time we put this on the show, whether we've aired it or not, when people Google and search, they find World of Watches, they find the watch, and they buy them out. It's been a long time since we've had this on the show. Why? Because people buy them. There's just no two ways about it. Congratulations to all of you who are picking up the ProMaster. You have got a fantastic watch.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for our program today. You do have until midnight Eastern Standard Time to place your orders. You get the stress-free payment option and the TV price. We're going to start now with our recap and the #1 seller of the past 2 days, which is, drumroll please.
Ooh, that is
Your
such
top
a
pick.
beautiful watch. But you know what? It was actually David's top pick.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was. Because I told him, I said, I need you to kind of pick. What do you think? And it stood out. And there's several variations of this watch, and we love all of them. One of them has a rose tone gold case. One has a silver tone case. The 44mm Optima automatic is, it's a beautiful watch. From the mineral crystal that's protecting that dial, the 316L stainless steel that is, easily repolished if you ever get a scratch on it. The Japanese PTS movement that's going to be reliable and accurate. The 50 meters of water resistance within the watch. The watch is 13 millimeters thick. It's going to house that beautiful automatic movement. And what you're looking at is a crescent moon shaped cutaway that allows you to look everything from into the beating heart with that wonderful bridge across there that has the decoration on it, into everything from the escapement and the other parts of the watch that just give it its reliability and accuracy. We love this watch, and apparently you do too, because you didn't have to pay $600 or even the $175 it's normally at. But you get a little extra discount. Who needs to hunt for a coupon when you have us? $144.99.
Coming in second, holding strong, my hot pick of the day, the 4220 collection from Nixon. 42 for the millimeters, 20 for the atmospheres, otherwise known as 200 meters, making this a professional grade diver. It's also a left-handed watch, that's why your crown and pushers are on the left-hand side, or the 9 o'clock side. Fully functioning Japanese chronograph quartz movement inside, $100. I love this watch. I think it is unisex. It's all wrapped in a rubberized coating, so it's super comfortable. 271-455. Coming up right behind that, this very cool racing-inspired S1 Rally from Invicta. You guys were all about this. It does have a silver tone dial, but the rest of it is done in rose tone and black. You have the Ronda 515 quartz movement inside, 100 meters of water resistance, 179069. 5 payments of $28. $28 down gets you an Invicta.
I love that watch. That may end up being a Christmas present in my family because that is such a value for all Swiss made. Coming up right behind that, ooh, one of my favorite watches. You've heard me say this, if I could have just one watch, if you had to limit me, the Ebel 43mm X1 chronograph is probably the most elegant dive watch you're ever going to find. It's hard to believe that this luxury timepiece is also a dive watch because you have 200 meters of water resistance, that unirotating bezel, the 316L stainless steel. It also has the gunmetal IP plating, and it's all Swiss-made sapphire crystal. Gorgeous. That's why the watch sells for $3,400 day in and day out from the architects of time. But we're the architects of savings. We've marked it down to 11. Thank you for that gratuitous laughter. $1,199.
That's really good.
We reuse that line again. Write that down. $200 gets it home. That's your first of 6. That's the maximum we can do. Stress-free, interest-free payments. And look what's coming up right behind that. Redline Apex. This is that stocking stuffer, the ultimate giveaway, because for under $50, you're getting a $120 watch that easily can sell for $300. It's a comfortable design with that perforated silicone strap that wraps all the way around, even the case itself. It's such a soft touch. You're going to love that all blacked out version with that pop of red. It lets you know that you're ready to take it to the red line, and it's only $8.33 to get it home.
Coming up right after that, the 40mm Kirkwood, a 25-jewel Swiss-made automatic inside a Swiss-made watch. Here you have a beautiful classic timepiece I think a man or a woman would absolutely love. I myself think this is a great watch for everyone. Jeweler's polishing, a gorgeous jewelry quality bracelet with a push-button dual deploying clasp, sapphire crystal open heart complication, $74, 5 monthly interest-free payments, $226,297. Another Swiss-made watch right behind that, the 46mm Legacy with the ISA 8371 quartz chronograph movement. This is also a 200-meter diver. Black dial and bezel, silver tone case and bracelet. $289,541,225. 5 payments of $45.
I like the silver variation.
Right behind that, my favorite variation, the 45mm Atacama Field from Luminox. This is the variation I tried on with that rich, almost sapphire blue dial and that gray-brown genuine leather strap. Swiss-made Ronda 5030D movement inside, sapphire crystal, 100 meters of water resistance, 5 payments, $236,769.
We did not even get to show this next watch. Look at that. It's the 38mm Blue Genève, and this is a combination that would look stunning on your wrist, or any lady who wants to look sophisticated with just a sporty flair. And it is gorgeous with that blue mother-of-pearl dial. And the watch has a ceramic bezel. So you know between the crystal and that bezel, it's going to look incredible for years to come. It is a lot of luxury for only $169.99, and it's a brand new style. I promise you're not going to see a whole lot of folks wearing this right now because we're the only ones offering it as it begins to hit retail stores. And when it does, they're going to pay $645. Not you. You're getting it straight from us. $169.99, only $34 gets it home. It's truly a legend, Swiss legend, Blue Genève.
And a 48mm Night Rally from Redline 281692, another variation. Unfortunately, we did not get a chance to air. You've got Viper Green for your dial hour markers and the outer tension ring of the dial. Black soft touch silicone strap, 5-year warranty on the Japanese movement inside, $89.99, 281692.
And one of the watches that harkens back to your and I's beginning. And that's going to be the 49mm Scubador Chronograph. There's a variety of colors and styles of this, so consult the website. I'm sure we have just the right one for you. But this, in the all black and silver version with that leather strap, is the classic configuration, and it's been dropped down to a bargain basement price of under $90. Only $22.50 gets it home. And that is truly a steal for a watch that is really going to wear well for years and years to come. 84845, the Swiss legend Scubador.
Brand new Ingersoll, the limited edition Coronado. This had a Japanese automatic multifunction movement inside with that beige leather, that beige dial and the cushion-shaped case. $289,564. It is a limited edition for $190. $38, it ships.
Friends and family, we're so glad you've joined us here at Swiss Watch International's World of Watches. And we have some great shows coming up, such as theme shows and some other exciting things as the holidays are approaching. So make sure you stick with us. We'll be here again soon, next week, same time, same channel. On behalf of Megan and myself, we'll see you again soon.
Bye,
Thanks
guys.
so much. Bye-bye.